Crime.
Let's get it together.
Education.
Let's get it together.
Marriage.
Let's get it together.
Politics.
Let's get it together. Full circle.
Poverty.
Let's get it together.
Race.
Let's get it together. Full circle. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Full Circle Podcast Show. I am Darryl E. McCullough, the Sanepoet, along with a Whitney Petty, who is in Chicago.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
And, all right.
By my side, as always, the coolest of the cool and the smartest of the smart, and like Prince fan as well, Carmen Miller.
Hey guys, this is a somber occasion, this particular show of ours. It's one that we never thought we'd have to do, but as we go forward, let's get on with it and try to keep it as fun or exciting as we can. We'll be coming at you with a liberal, conservative, and independent perspective today. Today's topic, and one that has been really, really prominent here lately, has been picked by our special guest, Rashone, from the Sneaker Box show. And the topic he chose for us is Prince, Michael Jackson, Why We Love Celebrities.
Definitely.
And he'll be joining us shortly over the phone lines. But before we begin, we can talk about some things that have been going on in the world. Talk about it, Darryl. Let's go get into this.
You know what? No order of importance. But on our last show, we had briefly talked about people who have been married for over 20 years getting a divorce.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got home, I found out that my television crush, Aisha Tyler, my wife says she looks like a giraffe because she's 6'5", but I think she's adorable.
She's cute. She's very cute.
She's on Archer and she's on The Talk.
She's hilarious as
Yeah,
well.
definitely. And she has been married for over 23 years, and her husband just filed for divorce.
Wow.
So, you know.
He filed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So, hey, as I always say, stay on your toes, people. Keep it interesting. Every 2 to 3 days, intimacy.
Now, is that just like on the women's side, or is that
No,
for guys and girls?
Yep.
That's
Well,
kind
you
of
got to
across
work
the board.
together every
Okay.
2 to 3 days. I don't care if it's just a kissing, cuddling, whatever.
Wow.
Every
Yeah,
2 to 3
do
days.
we know that the intimacy thing is what caused the breakup?
Right.
No,
that's
it's
that's
the
what I
lack
wanted
of
to ask.
intimacy.
No, do we know that was
I
like...
don't know. But
That's
Speaking of
what I wanted
which,
to know. Is that a proven fact?
I'm thinking
we're working out the statistics right now.
speculating is what he's doing.
It's-
All the best to Aisha.
You need to have the stats first, now.
Right.
Don't give out false information.
I told you, people have contacted me that, hey, I'm practicing your 2 to 3 day intimacy rule, and it is working.
Oh, yeah, okay. Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
okay.
speaking of intimate details of people's personal lives, Beyoncé dropped Lemonade,
Yep.
and apparently some things that have been trending since Lemonade have been Becky with the good hair, and sorry. So apparently, what this record is about infidelity and bitterness and the struggle of a marriage per se.
God, yes.
They're not saying that this is personal details. However, the Beehive or the Bagency, the Beyonce Mafia, they have taken to social media and have attacked pretty much everyone and anyone who has anything to say about Beyonce, which is wonderful. So I think she's wonderful, and yay you, all of that, because I don't want y'all coming after me.
I knew that was going to fall.
I
This is so sensitive.
I honestly believe it was a publicity stunt. That's what I believe.
I think so too. It's well timed with her tour. It's well timed with her tour.
Yep.
And if you notice, if there were any real marital strife, she wouldn't have released it solely on Tidal, which is her
Husband's
husband's
label.
label, their streaming service. It was a beautifully done visual album is what they're calling it. You have to buy the whole thing to hear any of it or whatever. Well, no, I think it's just you have to go on Tidal to hear it. So I'm like,
Well, I think she also thanked him for something. I think during the tour, something was going on. She thanked him, so hey.
he's at her shows. I mean, I don't see there being too much marital strife. I see.
Right,
They
exactly.
pimped you.
Yeah.
They
Well,
pimped you.
you know what?
As they say in the
I
street.
think that they're marketing geniuses and they used their platform very well. Going forward, I guess a lot of women are taking this very, very personally, and they say you probably shouldn't listen to Lemonade with your boo. I heard a girl say she got mad at her man and she ain't even got one.
Well,
Wow.
you know what? It just goes to show you that people really have nothing else to do.
Right. But kudos to Lemonade. I'm guessing it's doing very well. It was a great thing to do as far as putting that out there. She made lemonade out of her lemons is the gist.
Absolutely. Wow, absolutely. What is, I don't know a lot about this, but what is this Kelly Ripa and Michael Strahan, whatever his name
Michael
is?
Strahan.
Strahan?
Hey, Darryl, you don't know about sports. He's an ex-football player for the Giants, just to let you
The
know.
Giants. He's a baseball player?
Football.
Football.
Okay.
See, I knew that. I actually knew that.
Well, I don't.
Well, apparently he was her co-host on their morning show, Kelly and Michael, and he went and got a bigger, better deal at Good Morning America, which is wonderful. You're moving up, and you're going to get a lot more. I'd say probably a lot more attention on Good Morning America as one of the anchors there. So great for him. However, she was upset because of their friendship and their partnership. She was not aware of his negotiations to move to Good Morning America. And apparently there was a rift there because she felt like they should have told her. I sit on the fence with this because in terms of, there being discretion clauses and contracts and that, you can't necessarily tell your coworkers what's going on or, there may have been an NDA clause in there. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
but you know what? Business is business.
yeah,
Get over it. She needs to get over it. And that's not the first co-host she's had.
true.
So.
I think that from her standpoint, she felt like the network as well as her co-host could handle that better on a personal level. But you know
Yeah,
what,
and
like
you know
you
what?
said,
You gotta have couth, which a lot of people lack. And regardless if I got an issue, you got an issue, we got an issue, we're professionals.
So moving from that, we have some other controversial stuff, which is like not really controversial, but hey. They placed the new $20 bill. Harriet Tubman will be on the new $20 bill, which I think is awesome. I know there's a lot of, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this because people were saying that, the Alexander Hamilton is former president, whatever, what have you, and all of this. And
Yeah, because that picture, I'm looking at that picture, but it's like, you know what? If it wasn't her, then who would it be? Because you got to go back in that time period. You can't put friggin',
well, you know what? I
Michelle
think
Obama on there. It's got to be.
you could if you wanted to, but
Yeah, but that would be so.
at the same time, I think that historical significance plays a part in what it is that we use in terms of our currency. Some people are saying that because she was a revolutionary in terms of being a part of the abolitionist movement, that putting her on currency is sort of anti what she was about.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the arguments. The other one is, and this is the dumbest one, I've heard people say that only presidents should be on our currency. So the thing about that is, if you make that argument, number one, you are not very smart because our currency doesn't hold just presidents or whatever. But at the same time, I think it's time that, history has been broadened to to look at the scope of what everyone's contributions are. So I think it's a good thing.
I agree. So the deaths that we have to report are Doris Roberts from Everybody Loves Raymond. Also the female wrestler Joni Laura. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correct, but she's China from the WWE.
Yeah.
Also, what'd you say? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Grammy Award-winning Billy Paul, the 1970s singer who sung "Me and Mrs. Jones." For our younger audience, you may not know of Billy Paul, but our older audience, you should, and especially our people who have had affairs.
Shut up.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
We meet every day at the same cafe at 6:30.
You know what? For the young people,
I don't know the words.
Get yourselves familiar with that song. It's a great R&B classic. Yeah.
Now, what was interesting to me on this song was that, if I'm correct, this was a groundbreaking song because everyone who was having affairs, they were having affairs with single women. That song that was very popular, it's "If Loving You Is Wrong,
I Don't Want to Be Right."
I don't want to be right. Are you wrong to give your love to a married man? You know what I'm saying? It goes through that whole thing. Billy Paul,
he flipped it.
He flipped it, as they say in the hood.
Yeah, is that what they say?
I think so.
He flipped it on him.
He flipped it, and he put the pressure on the married woman. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what you want to do. I don't know anything about these affairs, but if you have an affair, you want to get with somebody who has the same to lose as you.
See, you know what? You're going off on a tangent.
You don't want to get with somebody.
No,
you want to get with somebody who has to go to Christmas dinner just like you.
See, you play too much.
You don't want anybody to be like, you don't spend any time with me on the holidays.
No.
They got to go to Christmas dinner too, just like you.
I'm not doing this with you today.
I'm just saying.
You know.
Dude, I saw it in the paper.
Anyway, he was 81.
He was 81.
Yeah, and finally, what really makes this a tough show to do? We lost one of the greatest musicians of our time, one of the greatest performers of our time, one of the greatest composers of our time. We lost Prince Rogers Nelson at the age of 57. Suddenly.
This was, you can tell it's hard for Carmen. It is very hard for me. Anyone who knows me, I'm a huge Prince fan.
Prince was, he was such a part of the fabric of pretty much all of our lives.
People are saying he's the soundtrack to their life.
Yeah.
Which is why, when this happened, I was at work and the guys were talking and I'm like, you're wrong. Why would you say something like, they got all these little hoax going on. And, I almost fell apart, but I was like, no, this isn't true. Then everybody started calling me. Everybody started texting me. People I haven't talked to in 20 years. Are you okay? Are you all right? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Dude, here's the thing. He had gone to the hospital a few nights before. And as a matter of fact, the day that we taped our last show, he was on tour doing the piano and microphone. He went to the hospital, quote unquote, flu symptoms, whatever, what have you. I tweeted him that night. I said, "Are you okay? You can't be leaving here now." And Prince is one of those people who will retweet or tweet you back or whatever, what have you. And I'm all good. That was the response, the reply. And then you hear a couple of days later that he's dead. And I tweeted immediately. I was like, please tell me that the media is playing tricks, or I forget what I said, but I was like, please tell me this is a terrible hoax and that the media has it wrong. And his manager tweeted me back, I'm afraid it's true.
That
Wow.
is great. Dave Chappelle said it best, I think. He said, it doesn't necessarily have to be black people, but he said, for black people, this is like a black 9/11.
He caught a lot of flack for saying that, but I think the emotional impact is what he was trying to get at.
Right. Because I said it in front of a group of white people and they looked at me like, what are you talking about?
But it's not just black people.
Yeah,
it's
universal.
Yeah, this has a cultural impact. This has, when you say the soundtrack of people's lives, we're talking about generations of people. This man made music for 40 years. For 40 years. Came on the scene when he was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the youngest guests ever on American Bandstand. And at that time, it was unheard of to have a musician that young be out there playing, composing, producing their own music. No writers.
Right.
Nobody else, no ghostwriters, nobody telling him how to sing a note. He was the music. And
Wait,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
so, yeah, I just want to ask the question now that you guys know better. Was it the same effect? And I know we're talking about Prince, but I'm just trying to gauge it. Was it the same effect, and not necessarily with you guys, as when Michael Jackson died? I mean,
Now
was
that's
it the
why
same? Do you guys think?
I'm glad you brought that up because of the fact that Rashone Bryant from the Sneaker Box podcast, we were talking about this. He called, make sure I was all right and everything. He is a huge Michael Jackson fan, and we had a discussion about that,
Right.
But I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to get right back to Michael Jackson. Prince was so cold that he owned a color. Because when I went to, when my wife texted me, she was like number 51, who texted me and said that she's a mess. And my son was going to be a mess because when David Bowie died, he didn't want to go to school. My son wants to go to school every day. I mean, he when it snows and they cancel school, he's like, why are they canceling school? He loves school. But when David Bowie died, he was crushed. He loves Prince double David Bowie.
Yeah.
So she said, Kendall is going to be a mess. I stopped, get some ammunition. I put it on Facebook, this picture. I stopped to get a gang of wine. I put the wine down, and I looked on the desk. When I was paying for everything, there was a purple stapler. I almost cried.
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
saw
man.
that.
I'm all man. But I almost cried right there in the doggone winery. I get home. I hit the door. My son is crying, who's 16 and 6'5". My daughter is crying. My wife is crying. So you know what I did. It was rough. It hurt me. And I was like, why is this hurting me so? It hurts, but why is it hurting me so much? Yes, Michael Jackson. I grew up with Michael Jackson. As they say, as Chris Rock says, remember when you was growing up and you said who was the best, Prince or Michael Jackson? Prince won. That's what he said. When Michael Jackson died, I was shocked, but it was a different type of shock. When Whitney Houston died, I was shocked, but it was a different type of shock. Michael Jackson kind of was going a little, I don't know how to say it, but he was kind of different.
Well, you know what it is too. For so long, when we watch people's careers, we become invested in who they are as people, and the quirkiness and the deterioration that we saw in Michael. We were able to see it. And in terms of Whitney, we saw the decline. We were able to see it and witness it for ourselves. With Prince, this is a man who is at the top of his game. This is a man for who all intents and purposes never aged. This is a man who, at the age of 57, after double hip replacement, was still doing splits, wearing heels, and giving 3 shows a week.
I thought he was going to be our James Brown. We're
But
going to see him when he's 80.
That's the difference in terms of what the feeling at the time of death, I think is. The impact, I think, is very, very similar. And it also depends on who they are in the fabric of your life.
I agree.
Because like...
But let me ask you this question. Now, when you say on the top of his game, how do we calculate that? Do we calculate it by albums being sold?
Relevance.
Actually, I'm saying in terms of the entertainment.
I will say this. I will say this. I'll say, when I say at the top of his game, I mean someone who can both create and tour at the drop of a hat. I mean, Prince never slowed down. There was not a time where he, at this stage, he was on tour. Okay. He's never missed shows. Okay. He's never like slurred words or forgotten lyrics or anything like that on stage. He was the consummate professional. This man gives a show. And when you go, it's the Atlanta audience, the night that he allegedly first got sick or showed any type of symptoms, the Atlanta audience that very night were tweeting about how it was amazing, the most amazing show they've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Okay? This is not someone who's going out half-assing it. Okay?
No, I'm not saying Michael Jackson didn't give a heck
but
of a
at the same time,
Michael
stopped touring for a while.
But you know what? The difference is when I started getting intimate in my young age with women, when I wanted to, and I didn't know how to kiss, I was thinking this, and I was like, man, should I say this on the podcast? But it's true, because I know a lot of people are the same way. I was like, you know what? How should I kiss this girl? You know what? I'm going to kiss her like Prince would kiss, because I don't know how to kiss. He was like my older brother who showed me, this is what you do. This is how you talk to a girl. This is how you can do this and how you can do this. And was as feminine, dressed as the girls I was trying to go out with, but was so cool that he could play that off. Who can do that?
What's funny is a lot of people talk about Prince in terms of the joke was Prince could wear your girl's blouse and steal your girl at the same time. The other side of it was, I will say this, from a woman's point of view, and people did not understand the allure of Prince for a woman. A lot of guys, and it trips me out that people get so, the person gets so wonderful after they die, because a lot of these guys were calling Prince, fag, queer, whatever, what have you, all these years. Now all of a sudden they the biggest Prince fans in the world.
Right.
I ain't on you, okay? And I said it.
I'm staying true to my position. I never said he was gay. I never thought he was.
I feel you, but
by any stretch of imagination. But let me say this: since we were talking about Whitney and we were talking about Michael Jackson and their demise and what kind of happened to them. Now, and don't take it the wrong, either one of you guys. Mm-mm. They had talk, and I don't know how true it is. I didn't believe it because I looked at everything that was going on in the news and how he gave. He's a philanthropist and gave money to different causes that people didn't even know. But if, at the end of the day, it turns out that it was some kind of narcotics involved, does that change?
No, not at all. And I'm gonna tell you. Let me. I'll take this one because I can say it from experience.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna take this one because I'll answer you like this. No, it won't, because here's you have someone who at the age of 57 had double hip replacement from years of beating his body up on stage, from years of performing to that level. And me, myself, I know I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, okay? And after some shows, after a 3-hour show, sometimes I'm debilitated to the point where my husband has to carry me in the house and I cannot walk. Literally.
Right.
Okay. So if you get to a point where pain management is something that you're dealing with, and if it were, pain pills or whatever, what they're saying, which I don't believe and I got something to say on the other side of that. But if we are dealing with that, if we are dealing with an accidental overdose, whatever, what have you, it is totally understandable just because I know the kind of pain that he must be in. He must have been in.
What you're saying is you give your all for your fans.
Absolutely.
You leave it. You
leave it on the
not
stage.
Not just by taking an overdose.
No, not at all.
The man maybe
not
was
at all.
in pain.
Not at all. I don't. Yeah. So that wouldn't diminish it for me.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's a question that needs to be answered. I'm just asking the question because I think Michael Jackson, I think Whitney Houston, they were tainted after everything came out.
Yeah,
That's
and
just my
I also
position.
think that there's a correlation. And let's look at Prince and Michael Jackson. There's a correlation between the fact that both of them had gained ownership of their material,
Right. Exactly.
ownership and rights over their music very
Right.
quickly before they died. And I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but this to me, that something don't stir the coffee that well. And then if you take it on the other side of that, they're all automatically deemed a drug addict or whatever, what have you. You try to taint their memory. That's not sweet.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of that. I'm just
hearing
not.
a lot of things, and we don't have to, get into those. But yeah, there are a lot of rumors.
I'm just gonna put it out there. The man was a vegan.
Yeah,
Yep.
and just
The
to be
man
clear,
didn't smoke nor drink. Okay,
Right,
by
well,
all
just
accounts,
to be-
the people who are
just to be
bit
clear
closest
with
to it. Go ahead.
Just to be clear with the audience, I don't believe it either. After looking at everything and over the time that he passed up until now, I don't believe it. I'm throwing it out there. It's
I
a question
understand.
that needs-
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When we deal with, and then, we become, as the fans, we become very protective of their memory. We really
yeah.
do. Because I find myself defending things that, I don't necessarily, I never met the man, you know what I mean? But
Right.
just because of the fact that we held people in high regard or whatever, I do get a little defensive when it comes to talking about
see.
something negative. And
About somebody that you do not know,
yeah.
but you feel that you know them.
Well, I tell you what, like you were saying, the soundtrack of, teaching you how to deal with women or whatever. I mean, without getting too personal, this was someone who is a part of very intimate experiences through music. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying?
I'm saying, okay, Adore was my first dance at my wedding. Adore was my first dance at my wedding.
Okay, I'll go here. I agree.
And like for a woman, here's the thing that I was going to go to earlier was like, from a woman's point of view, Prince sang the words we always wanted to hear. Always.
I agree with you, what you're saying 100%. I met a girl. We were cool. Okay. Found out she had some bootleg Prince music. We became real cool. Okay. Then became more friends, and I ended up marrying her. 22 years, 23. I don't know. I just pay the bills. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even have my wife. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. If it wasn't for him, I might not have my kids while you play. No, I'm just saying.
Wow. But you know what?
Okay.
I today was the first day that I could listen to Prince music without getting upset. I tried, and Money Don't Matter came on.
Oh, God.
And I lost it.
Dude.
I said, no more slow songs. Today was the first day I listened to a Prince song, Little Red Corvette, driving in here on the satellite station. They're playing all the Prince music. And I hope that they keep that up because Prince or Michael Jackson deserve a station.
They deserve a station.
Prince did Morris Day at a time.
Right.
All these
so
groups,
much.
so it's just not him.
Yeah.
But I think we got a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Okay, well, this is Cynthia Papin calling from Denver, Colorado.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Cynthia.
Welcome.
Doing good. How about yourself?
Well, you've been better under the circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the celebrities that you care about and, what will you miss the most about them?
Well, in all honesty, let's see, besides Maurice White, because, he was definitely a staple in our household, Earth, Wind, and Fire, definitely was. Prince, we drove our parents crazy with Prince. He was the number one staple. So it's really, actually, right now, a little bit hard trying to deal with the fact that he's no longer with us. It's a bit surreal, to be real honest with you.
I feel like, what's the point of music right now?
Well, in all honesty, music in this era of music sucks. So all I listen to is my era, and it just seems like our era is just getting wiped away.
It is. You're right. You're correct.
You know what, Cynthia? We were talking about uh, Harriet Tubman earlier, and if not her, who would it be?
Right.
Now that we've lost a lot of our icons, you know, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all these people, including Prince, who who can fill that void? You know what I'm saying?
Where's the next?
Who's even close?
I can't imagine in 20 years listening to the songs from artists that are out right now. I can't. I just can't
Oh,
imagine
God,
it.
no. Yeah.
Now,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like
gonna tell you
20
somebody.
years from now, 20 years from now, we could still listen to Sign of the Times and it would be just as relevant. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, but I
Yeah.
have to be honest with you guys. I cannot listen to anything Prince right now because it really does hurt too much.
Where
I mean,
does
you really
that-
think about all of the things that, I mean, it seems like he had a song for everything that you may have been going through in your life.
Everything.
So right now, it's really hard to even listen to anything without busting into tears. And then people don't understand because they're like, you might have just discovered Prince now,
Right.
but this guy was in our house forever.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
since I was a little kid, I grew up with him. So,
My kids
Yeah, right
are
now.
my kids are the pink cashmere and most beautiful girl in the world kids. That's the era they came up in.
yeah,
with
see,
Prince.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And they don't know that their grandmother was the For You era. And at her
That was
funeral
me.
in
That was
the
me.
limousine, we
That's
were playing
what's so
Uptown.
cool about it. That's
you know,
what's so cool about
that's
it.
the,
Every
you know,
generation can relate. When
Yeah.
my
This is
kids
true.
feel my
This is
pain,
true.
when my kids feel my pain from somebody that I listened to that I didn't realize I played all the time,
yeah,
I mean, it does something to you.
yeah.
Oh, I
re-
know.
I remember in my bedroom in Cleveland, Ohio, I had 80% of the wall was Prince.
Oh, I know. My dad was like, I am never coming into your room.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
80% was
Oh,
Prince,
wow.
20% was Michael Jackson.
Wow.
My stepfather comes in a room and he looks around, he says, I don't see no pictures of Jesus. I don't see no pictures of your mom.
Oh,
I looked
Lord.
at him like, are you crazy?
Well,
I
look,
had, like,
look,
really-
when your mama strap up a guitar, then go on and put her on the wall. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do
Oh,
that.
I would
I-
have, like, besides Prince, The Time, Vanity, I had all of them up there. So
Yeah.
it
Oh,
was
and
one
that's
of
what's
those where you're
crazy.
like,
Vanity died, what did they say, 2 months?
2 months.
2 months ago
Yeah,
to the
and-
date?
And they were both
and to be
57.
really honest with you, I think Prince died of a broken heart because whether anyone realizes it or not, any woman he's had after Vanity, they all look like Vanity.
He did have a type. He
He
absolutely
did.
did
And
have a type.
so I honestly and truly believe that those two never got over each other.
You know what's
what,
funny?
what love is.
Behind the scenes, the stuff you hear behind the scenes, there are so many people whose lives he's left his mark on indelibly to the point
And
where
still speak positive.
Absolutely.
Of him.
Oh,
I
That's
know.
when you
I
That's
know.
when you know. Yeah, I have never heard anyone, that has ended a relationship with Prince ever speak badly.
Oh, I
about
know.
him. And that's
And you know what's like really weird? I feel like I was in a relationship with him with all of the heartache and pain and everything that he made
talk to
may
us
have
about
gone
that.
through.
Talk to us about that. What is the feeling? What is that?
It's almost like you're like, we had like a 30-year relationship with him just through the music alone.
Yeah.
And I know
Absolutely.
that's really the impact he wanted to leave with everyone was the music. But it just seems like through all of his ups and downs or whatever he may have been experiencing, we experienced it with
We
him.
went with them. We went with
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
And so you feel this was a very tragic loss.
Now, I do not want this to be the Prince versus Michael Jackson episode, even though with our guest at the end, it's going to become that. But how did you feel when Michael Jackson died, and was it different with Prince?
Well, actually, and I have to tell you, now I was at work both times when I heard about both of them passing. So when I heard Michael Jackson pass, I was totally inconsolable. That was just crazy
Yeah.
because, once again, I grew up with Michael Jackson, too.
Yeah.
And so those two were pivotal
Yeah.
in music.
I think the tragedy of it is the tragedy and the shock of it is what makes it so hard to deal with because
There
here
it
are
is.
two men who are not old.
Correct.
These are people who are not old. This is not in your 80s. It's not in your 70s. These are people who basically have for the most part, tried to live private lives in public, you know? And
I think Prince was a little more successful with his privacy, though. Yeah.
But because we all admired them so much, we took a piece of them along with them taking this piece of us being gone.
No, I
you know
agree
what I
with
mean?
what you're saying. Yeah, because it's almost like a part of my heart was snatched with Michael Jackson's death as well. So you had Michael Jackson, heart ripped out, Maurice White, and I have to tell you, I am never going to get over that because I honestly and truly feel like that man raised me.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
I'm a huge Philip Bailey fan.
On the
Maurice
path.
White as well. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think he honestly and truly put me on the path of comedic spirituality because that's kind of like where I gravitate towards now. And it's because of Maurice White teaching us all this stuff in his music. So you have him who leaves, and we knew that he was sick, and I had to prepare myself for that, but I wasn't ready. And then it's like right after him, you had David Bowie. Then I think you had David Bowie first. Then you had Maurice, and then here comes Vanity.
I wasn't ready
at that point, I'm like, 2016 sucks. It just sucks.
It does. I don't trust 2016. Somebody need to call Shaka Khan and wrap her up in bubble wrap. Or
Oh, I know. And the same thing like with David Bowie.
Oh, my
God. Because that was a hard one right there. I didn't even know he was sick.
No.
That's how private he was.
Exactly.
But I do want to say something because I have to just get this off of my chest. Prince was not a drug addict. Prince did not do drugs. Prince was a vegan. Prince lived very healthy. So to have people smear him with this drug stuff, this drives me bonkers. We didn't know that David Bowie was sick. No one's smearing him. No one's calling him a drug addict.
You know what?
No one's talking about his sexuality.
Therein lies a bit of a difference that bothers me as well. Because here's the thing. David Bowie, too, gained control of his masters in terms of the music. David Bowie was instrumental in the 90s in creating the digital platform for ownership of your music online. The other side of that is this. And I'm glad you took me there. The other side of that is this. Why smear them now?
This is what I'm saying.
Right?
Yes. Just like, here's another thing that I have to say, because people don't understand this. If Prince was not allowing you to stream his music, why are you now doing it while he's dead? You're uploading all his stuff. You're putting it on YouTube. You're sharing it amongst each other.
Shut up.
I feel disrespected for Prince, to be real honest with you.
A week ago, yesterday, you could not find an image of Prince on YouTube. Not an image.
And now
every single video is up.
Every video. And I am really angry because I guess I overheard someone speaking that someone broke into the vault. So Sheila E. actually got out. Well, not Sheila E. Susanna went out there and was like, please do not upload the music that has not been up there.
Right.
Please do not put it out there. And people are doing that. And it's like, come on, people.
The bank
you have to explain to people when you're an artist, if you're streaming your music, if someone's streaming your music on the internet, they're not getting paid royalties for
at all.
There's a reason why Prince was like, no. He fought Warner Brothers all this time to get his music.
Yep.
So it's only fair that you pay for it.
And that's a big thing.
And Cynthia, you make some great points, and we got to move in because we got a few more callers. But I know that this is going to be a lengthy show because we got a lot of feelings coming up, and you got Carmen all excited and everything.
I'm a little
upset. That's good.
I feel you, girl.
That's good.
Oh my God! Because I don't think people understand this. If the man wasn't letting you do it when he was alive, why are you disrespecting him while he's dead?
There was a real concept about artists. He was for artists. He was for artists making their money off of their creations. He was for protecting the art. Okay.
Correct.
And it wasn't about, not allowing fans to have it. Not at all. There was just a matter of doing it in a way so that the artist actually gets paid for their work. And I applaud him and I respect him so much for that, because what people don't get, and I'm gonna tell you this from an independent artist point of view. When you stream a song on Spotify, the artist receives 0.001 cent.
Mm-hmm.
Point
Point,
zero
yes.
zero
One.
1 cent
Yes.
for something that they spend thousands of dollars and their hard-earned money, time, energy to create for you.
Daryl,
That ain't
isn't this
sweet.
what I put in my post? I said you have to be able to recoup your expenses some way, somehow, by all of that studio time and everything that you're doing.
Right.
And then only to find out somebody, because you're not getting paid royalties at all from YouTube. Period.
Right,
People
not at all,
people
not
have
at all.
that stuff up there, and they're free streaming all day long.
Right.
Right. Well, Cynthia, thank you for your points. We really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch with you soon. Okay. I appreciate you calling. Okay.
Okay, thank you, and thanks for listening to me and letting me ramble on and on.
Oh, no problem.
you.
That's what we're all going to be doing today.
Oh yeah, have a great
Thanks for
weekend, you
calling.
guys.
You too.
Alrighty.
Bye bye.
I'm sorry,
Bye-bye.
y'all. I'm sorry. It gets me. It really does. Because that's part and parcel to who he was.
You know,
You okay, Carmen?
I'm just,
I thought I was going to be the one crying. But I know she takes it personal because number one, she's a huge fan. Number two, she's a singer, and she knows that. You know,
Right.
it's a loss not only to the music, but the industry or the business side of it for us artists, because he was always an advocate for the artist.
now, as a fan,
Yeah.
Prince was a very, very, very private person.
Yeah.
Sometimes I didn't want him to be that private, but because he was so private, he was special to me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
This was my secret. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, when you found out little tidbits about his life, didn't it make you feel like you were a part of that inner circle? That
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. You know,
that's-
because when it comes to a celebrity, it's like you. As I said, my TV crushes. When you find out a lot of their personal stuff, they're not as attractive to me.
Yeah,
I kind of want them to just
the allure is gone.
absolutely.
He never lost his allure.
Yeah, you know what? I've got to ask a question, and I know Rashone will probably be talking to. I'm trying. I asked myself, over this last week, and when I talked to Darryl, I called Darryl. I was like, what's going on? And I was joking. I said, you still crying? He's like, hey, man, look, I got to call you back. I haven't talked to him since. But that's another story. But I came home, and this is the honest God truth. I came home, I called my cousin, and I said, am I insensitive? You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't. The emotion wasn't there. It wasn't there with Michael Jackson. It wasn't there.
My husband's
Dude,
the same way.
dude,
It's
you my
not that-
boy. We know we 20 years deep. We got a caller on there.
Right, but what I'm saying,
But no,
yeah,
I was messed up that day, man. I was
It's,
messed.
yeah, I don't think
No,
you're being
no,
insensitive.
no,
I don't think that. I just think that,
Listen to what I'm saying. I understand, and that's why I came home last weekend, and I sat there and I was like, man, is it me? Is it what's going on here? Because I still can't grasp.
I wasn't
still can't grasp-
sad. I wasn't sad. I
And I
was
don't mean no,
I was
Daryl,
sick.
I'm not,
I was
I was
devastated.
sick.
talking
I
about-
felt like
I'm
I was going to
still-
throw up.
I'm still
And I
yeah,
mean-
but
really
I'm
devastated.
not talking about you in precise, but I'm saying in general. Listen, one of my good friends called me and said, "Hey man," another friend of ours said they called him and he's like, "Did you hear what happened?" He's like, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, where are you at?" And the guy, my friend, was like, "I'm at work." He's like, "Why are you at work? Chris died," and we both. I don't understand this. I'm just
Got
trying to
you.
grasp it, and I need you guys to help me.
It's that
'Cause I
deep.
do, and even with this conversation, I feel like I'm insensitive to what's going on. But I'm an emotional guy. I'll tears will come out at the drop of the hat. I mean,
I know,
can
Dre,
watch
I know.
a movie.
But hey, we
I can watch
got
the
a
movie.
caller.
Go ahead.
Caller, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Tracey, and I'm calling from Canton, right outside of Detroit.
Tracey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for calling the show, my friend.
Thank you.
Hello, Tracey.
Hey, Tracy.
Hello. How are you?
So tell us. I'm sorry.
Well, I was listening, and the gentleman's name, I don't know his name, and
Boy, she's
forgive
saying
me
the
for
real
not-
negative. It's a real. Go on.
Are you really doing that? Don't do that.
I'm in trouble.
Well, I was listening to you, and and I'm a diehard Prince fan. When I found out last week, I didn't want to believe it. I was in total denial, and I was like, okay, this is a rumor. This can't be true. And I'm checking this website and that website. I'm on phone calls because I just, he hadn't been sick. I hadn't heard anything.
Right. That's the crazy part.
Can't be. Yeah, And then when I found out that it really was true, I was really hurt. Now, I grew up with Prince. I'm 46 years old, okay? The first concert I ever went to, my parents took me to see Prince at Joe Louis Arena.
Oh, I was there. What
year?
year?
I remember that concert.
Were you there after Purple Rain?
No, this was before. This was way before. I had to be 10 or 11, okay? I've had this love affair with Prince forever,
right?
Okay? Only posters I had on my wall growing up were Prince and Michael Jackson. That was it. And I felt some kind of way when Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
But with Prince, it's just different for me. And I'm just wondering how old this gentleman is who says that he just doesn't feel it, because maybe he just didn't have that connection growing up with Prince.
Oh, no.
Because we pick sides, though. We do that. We pick sides. You either from Prince or you're from Michael Jackson. He's from Michael Jackson.
But I'm a Michael. But the point that I'm making here is I'm a huge Michael Jackson.
But
fan.
you didn't feel that.
But I didn't. I mean, I was shocked that he died. I was hurt that he died. But I mean, I didn't get to the point where I was crying and I didn't go to work. That's the point that I'm making. And I'm not knocking anyone else for their emotion. I'm not. And I'm an emotional guy, as I was telling Carmen and Darryl. But I'm trying to really evaluate myself.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Myself to see if I am.
I didn't want to do this show. I didn't want to do this show.
I didn't either.
Carmen didn't want to do this
really
show.
didn't.
Nobody wants to do a show.
Because
we got to do what we got to do.
Oh,
but
wow.
neither one of us wanted to do this show. You brought up a valid point. You need to get this out. You need to talk, okay?
Right.
I questioned why I felt this way myself. Okay, one day, understood, 2 days, 3 days. My mom even called. Is everything okay at the house? No, Mom. It just happened yesterday. Or no, Mom. It just happened 2 days ago. I'm still messed up.
Right.
I haven't listened to a Prince song since it happened. Today was the first day, as I said earlier.
So you know what? Now, I'm the complete opposite.
I listen every day. I couldn't listen to anything else.
I have satellite in my car, and so they got that channel that's all
Yep.
That's all I put on.
It's on Sirius. It's channel 50.
Mom, why are you still listening to this? Because I am. I think today is the last day, but I'm still listening to it. I can't stop. I can't. I really can't.
You know what? You don't want this. You don't want there to be an end. You don't want there to be an end.
And there's not.
You really,
there's not going to be an
wow.
end. As the friend of the show, Michael Dean, said that the music will continue on. Here's a gentleman that's so talented, but no, this ain't ready to be released, or we're not going to do this. He has this vault, and I sincerely hope that it exists.
It is.
And they're
it
saying
does.
That he can put out an album
for the next
every
100
year.
years. For the next 100 years.
Seriously?
Here's the thing, and this is what messed me up too. The trustee, Bremer Bank, that was named trustee of his estate, they drilled open the vault yesterday, and it almost seems, I don't know what to call it. It's just it's insulting, because for those who really, really loved Prince, that was his way of exercising control over his art. And it was ready when he said it was ready, right? And now it's as if it's almost like ransacking the pyramids, going in and robbing the pyramids, because that's the historical significance that I feel it has.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: who has control of this? Of his?
I'm not going to believe. Okay. Let me go over here, caller. I know it's your moment, but I'm just going to go over here. Prince seemed to me like a smart person. He had that vault, and if in fact he knew that he was sick or whatever the case may be, I think at the very least he would have a will. Okay. I mean, he's just a little too
don't go
together.
there, Daryl.
So
don't go there, Daryl.
We'll see
how that plays out,
happens
how the
with that,
legalities play out. Yeah, because that's another huge thing. You mean to tell me that you want us to believe that not only was he an addict, but that one of the most intelligent artists who went to war with Warner Brothers and won didn't have a will. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
No, I refuse to believe that. Prince was a very smart man. Okay, I would say borderline
Brilliant.
musically genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and he was a businessman. Different things that I've watched on TV shows since last Thursday, things that I've seen on the internet. I mean, he seemed like a very astute businessman, other than an entertainer, a musician. People weren't pulling his strings.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he didn't have his lawyers doing things for him. He was a businessman. And I can't believe that he did not have a will. He had something in place. Now, there's sister and half brother, half whatever that's coming out of the woodwork, you know, the one that's never been to Paisley Park. He's never been there, but now he's there. You know, come on.
Wow.
I'm just, yeah.
Tracey, I have a question because we're going to have to move. We're running a little behind schedule, but I got a question for you.
Okay.
What will you miss about Prince?
Oh, man. You know, it's just got to be the mystery behind the man. You know, of course, his music. I kept thinking that, okay, he's going to come out with something new. He's just going to come out with something that's just going to set the world on fire, something that we're missing. And just that mystery behind him. He wasn't that open book for everybody to see. Right. He wasn't that person that, you know, you always saw in the tabloids or was on TV all the time. You know, there was something about him that always wanted you to say, okay, give me more. I want more. I need more. And that's what he was. And he's always been that way as long as I can remember, you know. And I think that's what made people gravitate to him. At least that's what made me gravitate to him other than his music. And I'm going to miss that. I can't think of anybody that's like that now. You know, everybody puts everything out there. You know, there's no mystery. There's no guessing because it's all right there.
Everybody begs for that attention that he never even had to ask for.
Never. Never.
So I'll tell you what, Tracey, thank you so much for your comments and your heartfelt stories and everything. We really appreciate it. We're going to move to the next caller.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
so
though,
much.
okay?
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm sorry, you guys.
Who I'm going to miss, what I'm going to miss most about Prince is he was the coolest dude ever. He was the coolest dude ever.
Mine is very personal. I'm just going to miss those eyes. Just those eyes said everything. You know, it was almost, even from a picture, even from a video, it was almost like he could look through you. He was a beautiful man. A beautiful, beautiful man.
Wow. Hey, Whit, you there? You crying?
No, man, I'm still trying to figure, I mean, this is what I'm going to say, and I don't, you know, because if he had to die, were you listening to his Prince music every day? Were you trying to follow him every day? Were you looking at his videos every day? That's what I'm trying to say.
I have.
You know,
Here's
dude, I wish you could see what we got on this table.
What's funny is
I
was listening every day because,
there.
get this, I was listening every day because I was prepping to do a Prince versus Michael Jackson party.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still going to do it, but it's like the shift of the meaning of the party is so different now. We were
but Carmen, not necessarily. I don't mean when I start talking, it's not necessarily for you two guys. I'm saying to other people like
right. I get it. Yeah, no,
the diehard fans. Prince got to a zone where, hey, I'm not trying to be in the top 40.
Right.
I'm going to give my fans something, and he would always give you something. So we got stuff to play.
I don't hear Prince music on the radio.
And you won't. That's what. But see, that's the mistake. But
I don't hear Michael Jackson.
You'll hear Michael Jackson. Because I'm not going to deny. When you want to talk about being commercial,
Yeah.
Right.
Prince and Michael Jackson, it's Michael Jackson. I'm
Right.
talking about being commercial.
Yeah.
What made Prince special was that he was intimate with all of us in one way, form, or fashion, where Michael Jackson
Was
lost
for
that.
everybody. It was
He
Michael
was for
belonged
everybody,
to the
for
world.
Chinese people,
Michael
for
belonged to the
black
entire world,
people,
but Prince belonged
Arabs.
to you. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Well, see, that's what you guys don't understand with me with this show is that's what I need to understand. That's what you guys have to explain to me.
Yeah,
It's a learning lesson for me.
I feel you.
Got it. We got a caller on the line. Caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. This is
What's your name and where you calling from?
this is Drew Williams from Akron, Ohio.
Hi,
My brother,
Drew.
how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. I'm just actually you caught me. I was listening to David Gilmour from Pink Floyd doing Completely Numb, and he was switching it to Purple Rain.
Wow.
First off, Andrew, it's awesome to talk to you. Number one, you're the gentleman who hooked me up with Michael Dean. You're the gentleman who I've exchanged. Well, not really exchanged. It seems like you were the one who was hooking me up. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
giving you your props.
Yeah.
I'm giving you your
Oh,
props.
yeah.
I appreciate that, man. So I know that it affects all of us differently, but I know you were, as Michael Dean said, gutted basically, as we all are.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about yourself and how celebrities have affected you.
Well, that's not many celebrities that has affected me, but Prince. You know, from the beginning, I had a bond with him for some reason. Each album, he reflected, part of my life. It's like we were going to, through the same stuff at the same time.
Wow.
Even during his marriage, when he got married, I had recently gotten married, and I had a child.
Wow.
And he didn't, but when I felt all that love that he had for his, he thought he was becoming the father, and I felt that, through my daughter.
Oh, wow.
That was painful. That was painful.
That was yeah. I felt for him so much during that time.
And what's crazy is, having gone through that in public and privately, it's like you said, people feel so much for him as you would someone you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. I had the chance to meet him once. Well, actually twice.
Wow.
At Paisley Park. And I had I love telling the story. Is that I was at the first celebration.
Really?
And I was trying to figure out a way. Now, how am I going to meet friends here? And I had met the engineer Ian doing one of the tours. And I had stopped. Everybody had went ahead. I had stopped and I was talking to him for a while. And me and him, we had kind of had a bond. And then that night, he was DJing. And I could see him up in the booth. I said, I got to get up there. But they had all these security guards.
Right.
And I was like, oh, man. And I said, well, sometimes the skirmish would appear, and they would move towards that way. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to stand right here. And the next skirmish, I'm jetting up them stairs. And that's exactly what I did.
Wow.
I went up there, and I saw Ian. How'd you get up here? I said, I just came up the stairs.
First off, you like 6'5", right, bro?
I'm 6'4".
I was just acting like I was security.
Yeah, exactly.
Prince don't hang around nobody over 6 feet tall. You know that. So they knew you stood out.
Right, yes, sir, yes, sir. I couldn't, he probably thought, there's no way he could have just, walked up the stairs without somebody stopping him. So, so I was talking with him for a little bit, and Prince walks in.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, wow, wow. And Prince stops, he paused for a minute, and he looks at Ian and says, hey, is he cool? And Ian said, yeah, he's cool. Because, I figured he didn't want to get in trouble, so, he had to, pass me off somehow.
Wow.
And so I chatted with Prince about, they had all these albums out, and I was like, yeah, I had this one, and I had this one, that D-Train. Oh, I just love that D-Train. And we just talk about music, and, and I'm like, dang, this guy's, he's pretty cool, You
talking to Prince about D-Train?
D-Train.
Wow. You're the one for me. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they had all these, albums. He was DJing. He was not doing it digital. He was doing albums.
Wow. Huh.
And so I'm like, wow, and then the security came and they said, oh, hey man, you gotta go. I said, okay, no problem. I shook for his hand and walked down the stairs, and my friends, they saw me coming down the stairs and stuff, and said, hey man, how'd you get up there? I said, well, hey man, I told you what I was gonna do, and I did it.
Wow.
That's wild.
I guess that's how they do it in Akron, bruh.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, to tell you the truth, I used to go with friends, go to the concert with friends, but they started getting on my nerve, but they wouldn't want to go to the after parties and stuff. So I said, I'm gonna start going by myself.
He was the king of the after party.
Yes, he was.
He was the king of the after party. And
Wow.
I start going to concerts by myself, and that's when I start having the more fun because I start, sneaking behind stage and acting. And the thing was, I always just acted like I was supposed to be there.
That's half, you know what? That's half the battle. That's half the battle.
Exactly. That's half the battle. Because even when I was at the celebration, and after the concert had ended at Northrop, I was heading back to the studio, and they were saying that you had to have another pass, the pass that we already had to get in the studio. You had to have another one,
right?
And they was passing that at Northrop. But I was flying out of Northrop trying to get back to the crazy part. And I said, I don't have the pass, and it started raining a little bit. I had this cold gold suit that I had on, and I said, you know what? I threw my glasses on, my sunglasses on, and I acted like I was Morris or something. I walked past everybody in line. The guys at the door, there were a couple of them that remember me from the night before.
Okay.
They said, oh, man, come on, man, you too cool to be, standing out here in the rain.
Wow.
I just said, okay, cool. And I just walked on in. I said, damn.
Man.
I'm a bad man. I'm just,
Hey, that was a good move there.
That's how you do
Wow.
it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I always manage to just be myself or act, just act like, you're supposed to be there.
Now, that's what's interesting. You're giving some great stories, and everybody who's calling in is giving their own personal story, but you're the only one of the callers that I know of that
have
met Prince.
Wow.
I didn't even know that.
That's
Oh, okay.
And me and you keep in touch. If I would have known that, I'd have been a little cooler with you, bro. Hey, we're asking the question, as hard as it is, what will you miss about Prince?
The music I'm not going to be able to get.
What about, do you think that it's wrong, or do you think that it's unfortunate as far as how the record company has been handling releasing so much material that was previously unavailable?
I kind of like it because some of the stuff, I get to see. But, I have a lot of stuff of, a lot of the things that they're pre-releasing already. And I'm going to say this. I have to say this. Prince was selfish with his music. He did not, want everybody to have it.
I disagree.
No,
I don't think it was a matter of selfishness. I think it was self-preservation. As an artist.
Yeah, he was thriving as far as I'm concerned.
I get it. I get that.
But there was a lot of stuff that even now, like when I gave oh my God, I forgot your name that quick. When I give you that CD.
Oh, Darryl. Yeah.
Yeah, Darryl. Oh my God, I forgot you.
Just call me Big D, D-Mac.
Big
I'm
D.
joking. I'm joking.
When I got a hold of that CD, I was like, oh, I'm in heaven.
But this is how Andrew does it. I'll talk to him for a little bit, and then we'll fall off for a year, and I'll talk to him again, and then he'll be like, all right, you know what? Here. And he'll just pop, you know what I mean? Like he'll just throw me something, and it's some Prince that I ain't never heard of. Okay, the brother got a lot of music that has been out. I do agree with you on the selfishness to a certain degree. Like the videos, the YouTube thing. I'm like, man, look, people want you. They want to hear why is he like that?
Let me ask you
but
this,
it kept
though.
it fresh though, because when you would drop that seed to me, bruh, that little seed that would, blossom into a beautiful rose from Prince. It may not have even been that, it's okay, but because it was a secret thing, oh, it's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But I will say that, that's part of the mystique that sets him apart. But at the same time, here's the thing.
Nobody else does that.
From an artistic standpoint, if YouTube is not going to give me any money,
No,
and I'm worth,
I agree.
and I know
No,
my
I
worth.
agree with that.
And I know my
I
worth.
agree with that.
Why would I not make it available to my fans on a platform for which they'd have to pay a nominal amount? But if you're a fan and you support someone, paying that to receive something that special shouldn't be a problem, right?
Well, I agree with that because back in the 80s and 90s, who was the most bootleg
Right.
musician?
Right.
And he lost a lot of money because of that.
Exactly. I mean,
and I understand
you put
why
out an
he was
album
so-
and then everybody make a mixtape.
Right, I understand. Yeah, well, yeah. But I understand why he did that because all the money that he lost from all these bootleg albums that people came out with.
Right.
And with the digital age, you got to kind of go things differently,
Yeah, you got to.
Right, exactly. I
But
understand
he was so
that.
ahead of the game. I just thought he would make the game work for him, man. I had his game. Remember that game, that interactive game? I had
Yeah, you
that.
didn't have that. That was the best.
Oh
that was
my
the best.
God.
I had
I
that.
paid I think I paid $90. No, I'm sorry. It was $50.
It was $49.99.
Right.
I mean, that was
I played
was
it.
crazy. And then
No
you
one
could
did
find them
that.
little, open up the bedroom and open up this song.
Right,
was
right.
crazy.
No, you know what? Somebody did. You know who beat him to it?
Who?
David Bowie.
That's
I heard.
right.
I did hear that. I
That's
did
right.
hear that.
David Bowie had one similar to his, but he was the one that he beat Prince to it.
But you know what though, just to be that innovative on the cutting edge. This is before AOL. This is before the internet and all. Everybody, your 5-second downloads. This is
Right,
before
exactly.
that. So to be on the cutting edge of what was next in technology,
Right.
It was
And
amazing.
who all had that CD? Went through the CD and took those tracks off of there and the pictures off. I did that. I took all the pictures off the CD. And music off of it and played it for myself.
Did you play? Oh man, what was the song? Was it Computer Blue? When at the end and you could play it, you could turn it backwards.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah,
it! You didn't do it.
Computer. No, actually, it was Computer
Was it
Blue
Nikki?
and
Or-
Darling Nikki. And you did.
You don't know.
You did it with Darling Nikki too.
You don't know.
You did. Mm-hmm.
You did that with your turntable. You could turn it backwards. You young viewers, you don't know nothing about a turntable.
It's called backmasking.
You young kids, you stay in school.
No.
You stay in school.
It's called backmasking, and the entire
Yeah,
Purple
they
Rain.
have it. It's digital now. They can do it digital.
Yep, and the entire Purple Rain album, the vinyl, was backmask.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Wow.
But I tell you what, bruh, we appreciate your stories, man, and it's great to talk to you on the phone again. We're gonna move to the next caller.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem. It was my pleasure.
Hey, I'll be in touch soon.
Okay.
All right, bro.
Take care.
This is lightweight therapeutic.
Hey,
I'll be honest.
Hey, I just want you guys to know that I'm like the kid in the back of the class. I'm just like way in the back.
That's where
of
the
the class.
dumb people sit. You
Don't
don't want to
do
be
that.
back there, bro.
I know I'm back. Hey, that's how I feel right now.
Well, hey,
Hey,
I'm
wait.
glad to hear somebody laughing. That's good.
I just, you know what though,
I
this
can't
for
raise
us
my
is very
hand when you
therapeutic. It kind of is. It's kind of therapeutic for us because it's almost like how after the funeral you go back and sit and have a drink with everybody in the family and they start telling the stories about what they remember.
Right.
Yep.
This is basically what they call it, the repast.
Absolutely.
This
Right.
is our repast.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. So we got another caller. Caller, you there?
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Is this Brandi?
yes, it's Brandi.
Well,
How are
it's sad. You didn't
you?
even
Hey,
need an
welcome.
introduction.
Welcome, Brandi.
How are you, girl?
I'm doing better. I have not cried today so far.
since Prince passed.
Girl.
I've only gone one day without crying, and I really had to fight that day. But so far today, I've been cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Know what you mean.
Yeah, Brandi, Miss Popular on Facebook, put a post up. No, don't call me, don't text me, to everybody.
Don't tag me.
I didn't think that applied to me. But everybody called me, Brandi. Everybody called me.
I know. Me too. Called, and I mean, they did everything. I was really. I'm looking back and like, wow, people really, really care about me to that point where they know how much that I cared about him.
Right.
I didn't know people knew that I cared about Prince that much. I knew that they knew somewhat, but I was like, I mean, people who don't even like me calling. I'm like, huh? Who is this?
Yeah, exactly. Me too. People who I don't even fool with. I know you and I don't talk anymore, but I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Wow.
Wow. I still don't mess with you, but thank you.
Yeah.
She said, I still don't mess with you.
But thank you.
But thank you.
Girl.
Delete.
I love it. Yeah.
Wow.
So now we are basically saying that this is our repass. This is therapeutic for us. This is where we get to tell what Prince meant to us. You know, the stars that we grew up with. A lot of people don't understand, why it is that celebrity deaths, someone you've never met, could affect you so much. So talk to us about how this affects you and the whys.
Well, I think that what I broke it down last week in a post. I don't know if you might have seen it, Darryl. It was like several paragraphs long, and I had to kind of break it down. You have people who love music aesthetically, as in, that's a nice song, I like that song, I might buy that song. But then you have people who listen to music on a more spiritual level, and those people have the soul connection with the people that they love. Now, me, I don't have a lot of those. And matter of fact, except for two people, all of mine are dead. I mean, James Brown, Michael Jackson, Prince. And those people I had a soul connection with. I mean, they were my family.
Yeah.
They had a lot to do with the definition of Brandi Byas. A lot to do with it. With Prince, I learned so many things. I learned, of course, how to be funky. You don't learn that messing with Prince.
Yes,
know?
you will.
Right.
I learned that sex is awesome, and we shouldn't be scared of it, and it shouldn't be something that we shouldn't hide our sexualities. We should be who we are. We're sexual people, and there's nothing wrong with
It's a
that.
valid point.
I learned that all my life I've been called different, weird, and strange. I learned that's probably what is the coolest thing about me. I learned from Prince that it's okay to be those things. So when he left, a big part of my spirit just escaped me because the person who put a lot of the things, my foundation, a lot of the foundation of myself, that was him. And it didn't matter what he was doing or I never even saw him in concert.
Really?
It didn't matter what he was doing, where he was at, what religious thing he was on. It didn't matter just as long as he was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that is the thing that hurt me. And so when people say, you didn't even know him or he ain't paying none of my bills, most of the people I know ain't paying none of my bills, and I love them too.
Right.
And most of the people I know and love as family because they are my family, I can't stand to be around. The thing about it is, it was a soul connection. It's always going to be a soul connection. That's why this is always going to be hard. I think it'll always be days when I cry. It may not be every day, but I'll always cry about this. It'll always and forever be sad to me.
Now let me ask
I'm
you
trying
this
not to
for
cry
our host A-Wit. How did Michael Jackson affect you? And was it different with Prince?
It's definitely longer with Prince. But Michael Jackson, I went through the same SBS as he ain't dead. I went through that, because I'll never forget. I love gangster movies and gangster stuff. So I'm sitting in my room watching Gangland, and my husband just walks in the house and turned the TV to CNN. I'm like, what are you doing? And he said, Michael Jackson died. And I said, no way. I said, no, turn it back. He's not dead. He probably fainted or something. But I remember we got drunk that night and listened to Michael Jackson all night, and probably for the next week.
Yeah.
And then we cried at the funeral. We watched the funeral on TV, and that was emotional. But it was nothing like with Prince. And then with Prince, I'm kind of mad with him in a way because I always said if something happened to me, just cremate me right away and don't have no funeral, nothing like that. Just get on with your life. So he stole my idea. But then also, we get no closure.
Right.
Because with Michael, we did get closure because there was a funeral, even though I never expected there to be a funeral. I knew he would. He couldn't have a funeral. It's not like him.
Right.
Right.
But we
even
need
private,
some kind of
even in death.
Right, and mysterious and private in death, exactly. But we need closure. We need something, a last album or something. We need something to
Well,
close
you know
it
you're
off.
gonna get that. You know you're gonna get that. But I know what you want. You want Larry Graham to say something.
And he's not, and I understand that now. And you know, I'm glad that Prince had the support system that he had as far as his friends, and I'm glad that he got to know God in the way that he had been seeking all his career.
Yeah.
All his
He let you.
I had my sons cracking up, and I told them, you know, Purple Rain, that's a gospel album.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, he got real religious. He could get sexual.
Well,
he could get religious.
See,
He could flip it.
The thing about Prince is that he never separated, you know, the secular from the religious because all of it was part of his life walk.
Right.
I mean, he was, where we say he's very private, his music was very transparent. His music was very, he told you everywhere he was mentally, emotionally, spiritually in those songs, you know? So yes, he was seeking for a long time. And then at the time of his conversion or whatever, he gave you some really beautiful spiritual music, you know, that was open to the beauty and the love that he experienced in that, you know?
Check out a song called The Work.
Oh, yeah.
Ever heard
Willing to do the work?
Yes.
Man.
Yes, I was just listening to that.
When I said it, I got chills. It's just, that song is just so, it's everything.
And I mean, like I said, you know, so it wasn't that, you know, that's why there's that connection. That's why it's so real because we walked through all of that stuff with him.
Right.
You know,
right.
And there's times where you find yourself in those places where you're longing and seeking and not knowing. And then there's a song that says that somebody knows what that's like.
I got a question. Prince being private, very private. The question to me is, why did he start inviting people to Paisley Park on a regular basis?
From what I understood and from what I understand, now and then he would have parties at his house, even when he lived in L.A.
Yeah.
He would have parties and he would perform, and they would all start at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And he would invite certain people to his, to watch him perform. But I do know this, and I know this from my own mother's death. When people are getting ready to leave, they let you know, especially if they die suddenly like Prince did. My mother died suddenly. She just went to church and died one day.
Wow.
And she was 42 years old.
Sorry to hear that.
The things that happened before that, like for instance, we talking the week before she died, the week that she died rather, a song came on the radio and we both looked at each other and I'll never forget how I felt. It was just kind of, I don't know, it was like finite, you know? And then the next thing that happened was she cashed her check, handed it to me and said, I'm not going to need this. Then earlier, she joking with her friends and said, that's why I'm going to die and make you sit in a long funeral. Her funeral was 4 hours long. So I'm telling you, they drop hints. So maybe that was his way of saying goodbye. And then I read somewhere earlier this week that he was really good friends with Cameron from the Today Show.
Oh yeah, that's my news crush.
She is a beautiful woman. But she was talking about how he kept trying to get her to come to his last party he was having. Well, he didn't call it his last party. And she couldn't go because she had to work. And, she was just really feeling real bad about that. I think that maybe he was trying to say goodbye. I know it was strange because I had posted about Prince the Sunday before he died, I think it was, and I hadn't posted about Prince in probably about a month. I might have shared some things, but I just stopped and posted something about him. It's just crazy. I think that, and I really think that he is in his fans' heads right now. I think he's communicating with us.
Wow. Now,
I do. I know that sounds crazy, but I do.
Dear, let me ask you a question. What are you going to miss most about our boy?
that he would just pop up sometimes.
Right, right.
You know, he
Yeah.
pop up on TV. He just pop up sometimes. And you don't depend on Prince to drop albums like he used to, but you do depend on him to be there.
I told my wife when he started doing the Paisley Park thing, I was like, we gotta get these pennies together so that we can go there and do this and do this. And also because of the fact that he'll just up at the drop of the hat announce that he's coming to Cleveland or coming to Detroit.
Right.
You got to have money in hand. You got to have a credit card with available credit. See, me, I'm like a lot of other people, check to check to check. I got $50, tomorrow's payday, I'm straight. But if Prince come to town and I got to get these tickets when they say, 10 a.m. the tickets go on sale, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm sitting in the back.
I'll be real with you. My kids just ain't gonna get tuition money that you. I'm sorry.
I used to say Prince was the one person that I spend the rent money on. After I see Prince, I don't really need a place to live anymore because I fulfilled my life.
We gonna be living in the car messing around with Prince.
Wow. Now, Brandi, your boy trying to, your internet crush is trying to talk to you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, Brandi.
Yeah.
I've been quiet here, but one thing that you said and something clicked in my head, and I don't have a total understanding, but it clicked when you said that it wasn't necessarily about the music, and you made a statement and you said, Prince allows you to be different, to be who you are. That something's clicking now that makes me understand why everybody is so just torn up about it. And that makes sense to me.
And I appreciate the fact that that's a good point that you made, A-Wit. And Brandi, I appreciate the fact that you're talking to him because I do realize that you blocked him on Facebook.
No, I've only blocked one person on Facebook, and you know what? And it was over a Prince argument.
Hey, Whit, watch out now.
I know.
And it was years ago.
But
it's funny.
Yeah, but thanks. So you kind of gave me an understanding with what you said.
Everybody has that level of what makes him special to them. For those of us that are fans, we have things about him that make him special to us. But the one thing that's so universal is that, it is that personal connection. It's very personal. Yeah.
You sound like you like Graffiti Bridge.
Who, me?
Who, me?
I actually did. I
Both
understood
of you
it.
sound like you
and
like
I'm gonna tell you why.
Graffiti Bridge. I love Prince.
It was a terrible movie. It was a terrible movie.
There were some scenes that was all right though. But Under the Cherry Moon. I love Under the Cherry Moon.
It was a terrible movie, but I got it.
Under the Cherry Moon is funny.
I got it. It's funny. Under the Cherry Moon was hilarious. That was Prince at his most Prince.
Yeah.
Graffiti.
There was some parts of that movie though that I wish wasn't in there because it fed to a lot of the rumors about Prince.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be in France, and so people wasn't really getting that.
Right.
Like, this is France, and you're thinking about it on an American level.
Right.
Prince tried to make an international movie. It wasn't a good try, but he did try.
Right. But I tell you what, we got to move to the next caller. We're running real behind. Everybody's been giving their story, and it's been awesome. And of course, we always love you as a friend of the show.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that you guys have me on your
Thanks,
show.
Brandi.
Thank you.
I gotta give one.
Don't forget to tag me in the show, Darryl.
Oh, for sure. How you think I'm gonna get views? I got to tag you. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, you all take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
take
I
care.
want to give an aside to Under the Cherry Moon. Tracey died soon after a long-fought civil war. Just after I'd wiped away his last tear.
Oh yeah.
Shh.
Oh yeah.
I guess he's better off than he was before. A whole lot better off than the fools he left here.
Mm-hmm.
I used to cry for Tracey because he was my only friend. Those kind of cars don't pass you every day. I used to cry for Tracey because I wanted to see him again. But sometimes life ain't always the way.
And so you want to make somebody cry.
It snows in April. Sometimes I feel so bad, so bad. Sometimes I wish life was never ending. and all good things, they say, never last. The week before Prince died, it snowed in April.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to make, now I'm trying to be cool.
I know.
I got on a new shirt. I got on a new tie. I bought a purple paisley tie. And you want me to get man tears all over this tie.
Hey, how'd that purple tie work out, Daryl?
It worked out, dude. It worked out. I was trying to get it on sale. All of a sudden, Paisleys is all over the place. And everything was on sale. The lady was like, these pants on sale, that shirt's on sale. I said, is this tie on sale? She's like, no, the tie's not on sale. I was like, are you serious? Now, I mean, I know it's tough, dear. And trust me, I've been a
trying.
mess.
I'm so
I've been a
trying,
mess.
dude. I'm trying, man.
This was the best day to have this show.
I'm trying.
And it still stings, okay? You're not alone. You're not alone.
I'm trying.
I don't know what that sound is. I don't like it because I'm sensitive right now.
Well,
I don't know if the audience can hear it, but I can
don't
hear
think.
it.
What sound is it,
It's
Daryl?
somebody's phone or something. But all right, I don't know if the audience can hear it. But I'm
I don't
sensitive.
think
I'm
they are.
emotional. You know what I mean? You know how you just get upset at little tiny things.
And you know, I've been snapping at everybody this week. I know that's why, but I've been snapping at everybody this week.
You ain't snap at me.
I
You
feel
used to
like-
always reply to my text messages. Nothing. If it
feel-
wasn't for that iPhone red, I'm like, well, did she get it?
Hey, Daryl.
If
Daryl.
But we got a caller on. What you say, what?
I said, stop it. I've been calling you for 2 weeks.
It
You
ain't.
ain't called, return the call.
Dude.
okay, look,
I ain't talked to my mama, man. Prince died.
we got a caller. Caller, how are
Stop
you?
it.
Hi, good. How is everybody doing? This is Regina.
Hi, Regina.
Regina, where you calling from?
Hi, how are you?
Hi there. How are you? I am
Great.
calling from the DMV,
Wow.
the Washington, D.C.
Yes.
area.
Wow.
And, we always have shown this man tremendous love. Our local fan club, Love 60 DC. It's several clubs here, fan clubs, but Love 60 DC is by far probably the most active, and they do it up here. So it's been celebrations all week, and will be through the weekend.
Yeah.
Most definitely, and more to come. But I'm listening to you share your memories and your thoughts and your and I've just been very moved. It's been hard, but the fans are helping us get through, and we will get through.
Wow. Now, you just recently went to the movies, correct?
Yes, I went last night. Our local historic theater here in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is right on the line of DC.
Yeah.
And our historic theater here called AFI. They've been showing Purple Rain for the last few days, and will show Under the Cherry Moon tonight, late showing tomorrow, and I think 2 days next week.
No Graffiti Bridge.
I was looking for Graffiti Bridge. I know.
Ouch.
People are hating on Graffiti Bridge.
You know what? There was some amazing music that came out of Graffiti Bridge. Thieves in the Temple.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
come on.
yeah. Thieves in the Temple.
I mean,
The world still goes round and round.
Round and round.
I'm joking. I didn't like that song.
People forget about
That was a good song.
those are some of the unforgotten hits.
Right.
New Power Generation even was a minor hit. Thieves in the
man.
Temple was a major hit in England and around the world. It was a minor
England.
hit here.
When they say the foreign lands, that's what. Oh, it's number one in Spain. You know what I mean?
Don't
It's
do
like-
that. Do not do that.
Exactly.
But you know what? One thing about Prince, what that was crazy. You ever? I'm gonna equate things to a relationship for a minute. I'm gonna go when this news hit with Prince, it made me feel like that one of the 3 women who broke up with me, and I've been with hundreds of women.
Thanks for
Hundreds
that.
of
Here we go.
Thanks
Here
for
we
that.
go.
One of the
That's so
3
good.
women that broke
It's
up
so
with me
not about you.
before I could break up with them, It hurt me.
Here
It
we
crushed
go.
me. And I couldn't even listen to a slow song. You know when that slow song comes on, you're like, turn it off. That's how I was with Prince. I was like, I can't even listen to it. I didn't want to listen to the news because I was like, y'all don't even know what y'all talking
You know
about.
what? Let her tell about her experience, please.
And furthermore,
Because
the Democrats, I'm sorry.
Woo! Richard, tell us about how you feel, darling.
So for some reason, I've been playing his music nonstop since last week, and some people can't do that right now.
Yeah.
But it's been a nonstop because that is the only thing that has gotten me through. Let me just say this. You know how Prince loved Earth, Wind, and Fire. Well,
right.
Maurice White is another one of my heroes.
Yeah.
So this has been
very,
very difficult because
this year has been horrible.
Yes.
I don't trust 2016.
Yes, and no, and boy as well. But Maurice was another one of my heroes growing up. Earth, Wind, and Fire is my all-time favorite band in the world.
We just did a show on talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, and I knew that he was ill. He had been struggling for years, and I knew that he was ill. So when he passed away, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, try to get myself together. I knew this was coming. He's no longer suffering.
Right.
But Prince dying, I can't.
No.
I can't.
And
I thought this guy.
Here's the thing.
You know that these people are mortal. They're
right,
not
we
immortal. We get that, right?
Right.
So people are like, oh, you guys have to get over it. But no, it's not about that. You asked me to reflect on, why it is we take it so hard when celebrities pass away. Michael Jackson passed away. It was very difficult. But I think this hit me harder because even though I liked Michael Jackson, I wasn't a big fan. This hit me harder because I think with Prince, for me personally, he reminds me of my childhood and he reminds me of my youth. And
Absolutely.
for some reason, I saw him as sort of an otherworldly. I don't know if it's because he was so private and nobody, he was a mystery. So you're thinking, okay, this guy is not of this world.
Like you're looking at Prince, okay?
Yeah.
So you're looking at Prince in 1982.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at Prince in 2012, and he looks like the same man. He was like the picture of Dorian Gray. He was like, there was something about him that was so like different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That made him more than just average in terms of even looking at the death aspect. I'm going to be real with you. I'm a devout Christian. I love the Lord, but I really do expect this dude to pop up one day and be like not dead. That's just the kind of mystique that he had about him,
Well,
and he's a regular dude. You know it. You get it.
Yeah. When you think about it, the stuff that he would do, no human could jump down from an 8-foot rafter.
Girl, in heels.
3 heels. We are women. When we wear heels,
Baby.
So our back is hurting, our hips are hurting, our knees are hurting, wearing heels.
Okay.
Just imagine, okay, jumping off pianos, risers, splits.
Yes.
The average person can't do that.
No.
I don't care how athletic you are. And I'm athletic. Right. I just finished running 8 miles. I can't do that kind of stuff. I don't know anyone.
He pushed himself to so many limits. He was limitless.
Maybe James Brown.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
But not in 6-inch heels, boo.
No.
Right. Wow.
No.
Wow.
No.
Now, Regina, what will you miss about Prince?
Well, a lot of us talked about the fact that every year we look forward to going out. And I know when I was a kid, and I got introduced to Prince accidentally, and I was way too young to know what was going on.
How does that work?
Yeah, I was way too young to know. But I didn't associate the man with the music until later on, until Purple Rain.
Yeah.
But I think because he released so much music, every year I look forward to going to the store. And I'm dating myself. I'm a little older. But I always look
Girl,
forward
you 56
to going
years
to the
old.
store. Yeah.
I'm joking.
I know. I always look forward to that. Nowadays, it's, going to iTunes or going to wherever to download the album or going to the store to get the CD.
Right.
Every year, I look forward to it because for some reason, an album released right around my birthday. So it's like, oh, this is. I'm looking forward to the next Prince release, and I think that's what I will miss. The music, it was never, ever. I'm not saying that Prince is not attractive. He is. He's a beautiful man, but it was never about the persona, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
For me, it was always about the music. It was always about the art. So I'm always going to miss that. And I think what's heartbreaking for me, too, is I had hoped one day that we would get to hear more music in the vault, from the vault.
Right.
But I really don't think that we're going to be able to hear it, unless we find something where he has expressed explicit instructions about what he wanted in terms of the vault. I just don't think it's going to happen. So
if Tupac
to me,
can
that's
release
the
music after he died, I'm sure we can get that with Prince. Michael Jackson, I don't think we got anything, did we?
Love Never Felt So Good with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did that collaboration.
Oh, now A-Wit says something. Unbelievable.
Right.
I will say this: if you're looking
here.
for the piano and microphone music, Prince's last tweet on the 18th of April was directing you to where you can buy that. That's at electricfetus.com.
Yeah, but it's sold out though. It's very difficult to get it. Though.
Yeah, because it was sold out. It was absolutely sold out.
Yeah.
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 As a matter of fact, I think they printed more after each show because a lot of people would go from the show and download it and order it and that. So so yeah, I just it's funny because when you talk about the music, I still I go every day. I go to his Twitter account and I kind of I expect it to be one day for there to be a tweet. Psych, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know.
I was listening to Dr. Funkenberry's podcast earlier, and
oh, okay. Thanks for hip. I didn't know that he had a podcast. Okay, cool.
Oh, you've got to go. When we get off here, we're done here. You've got to hear this because, man, it's interesting. I know all of us who are lovers of this man and his music. We typically or often found ourselves having to defend him.
Right, absolutely.
We were just saying that.
Having to defend him, and, people would laugh and make fun or whatever.
Right.
But if they only knew the kind of man this guy was, the music was excellent. And, for my father, who's a jazz fan, the whole family's a jazz fan, I've wanted to play that. If he would just listen, people would just listen, forget about the persona, just listen to the music.
And there's so much of it.
Yeah, I want to play it for him, but I think, unfortunately, too many people are distracted by the appearance and distracted by things that they hear about him. The Dr. Funkenberry's tribute is the tribute. It's the most recent podcast. And it is absolutely beautiful.
Now, what's cool about that, just to interrupt you, is that everybody knows when you with Prince, you are on borrowed time, because he will, at the drop of a hat, get a whole new group, and it does not include you.
Right.
Get a whole new girl, and it does not include you.
Don't do that.
But they still speak well of him.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that's because they signed the contract, because I'm sure he brings out the contracts.
Yeah,
but they
order.
do not speak ill of him.
You know,
I gotta respect that.
I got to even, Maite and Carmen Electra,
Right.
they had nothing but even Madonna.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
glowing things to say.
And
Yeah.
he's, it's just amazing. I think he made amends with people too. I think he found a way, whoever he hurt, to make amends with them. And I have never heard of anything else ill will or ill said about him from any of his former associates, girlfriends or not.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, I could be wrong. I fear, guys, that in the coming weeks, people are going to start coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, well, yeah, they
And,
already have. I mean, you've got like people
Yeah.
who, Prince kept a very tight inner circle. So those that know don't tell, and those that tell don't know. Okay? So what you're hearing now is you're hearing the wide speculation of associates of associates. Okay?
Right, exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly
Right.
what's going to continue to happen. And
Yeah.
for those of us who, have followed his career throughout the years, it's an ugly thing. However, for those who are just peripherally getting to know what Prince is about, it becomes that smeared, it becomes that marred reputation. And that's not sweet. That's not good at all.
Regina,
Yeah.
we appreciate your input and your heartfelt stories. We got to move to the next caller, but you, like all of our
Thank you.
listeners, we keep your head up, and
Thank
thank you
you
so
very
much
much.
for calling. Okay,
I hope that we'll do this more.
definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Regina.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.
Darryl, this is a tough one.
Well, I'm actually doing better than I thought. Because
I'm not.
Wit,
I'm not.
see, he laughs at my pain, and he wanted me to be that guy on YouTube who cries and he wants it to go viral and all that
You
stuff.
know it, though.
I'm not gonna cry.
Hey, Daryl.
I'm all
Hey,
cried
Daryl,
out.
man.
I'm all
Daryl,
cried
again,
out.
I've known you for 20 years, man. I know you. So I don't want to see your pain. I want you to be happy, man.
Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna say this, man, and it's not like I don't know. I don't even want to say it like this,
Would you?
but do you ever get? I'm not comparing the two.
No,
I'm
talk
not.
about it. What's up?
Do you ever get over the death of your grandmother or your grandfather or something
No.
like that? You always think of them.
Yeah.
You feel, and yeah, I knew these people.
Yeah.
I didn't know Prince, but I feel like if a person buys Carmen CD or they buy my book, that's a piece of us.
Yeah.
And if you keep buying those things, you're going to get more pieces
Right.
of
It's
that
a
person.
very
Do you
real-
see these pieces that I have in front of me? Do you
It's
see
a very real
this
thing.
puppet, this picture, this guitar?
They all represent some part of your life.
This
Something
ain't nothing compared to the stuff
Yeah.
I got at home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I don't know. It's hard.
For me, it's hard too because, okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying when you compare it to grandparents or siblings, I don't get the connection.
I'll tell you like
I
this.
gave a good introduction.
I'll tell you like this.
I paced it out.
I'll tell you like this. Okay. Let's say
You about to piss me off.
I could get in an argument with my brother today and not speak to him for a year. I'm never gonna get into a place where I'm not gonna listen to a Prince record for a year. Okay? I could get pissed off at a friend and we stop being friends. But with me, the way I feel about the music that he left or that he had even in life, that was a friend to me. That was a comfort to me. I'll give, for example, just Ballad of Dorothy Parker.
One of my favorite.
My mother died in 1992. She was 41 years old. My mother introduced me to Prince. The album For You, she went to a club in Detroit in the 70s when he was too young to get in the club, but they allowed him to play, okay? her and my godmother went to this concert, and for years, whenever she heard a nasty record, she'd be like, that ain't nothing compared to that Prince. She loved him. I mean, she was like, I saw him. He came out in drawers and boots, girl. I was like, and that's my mom, and that was her thing. She just loved her some Prince. No matter what he put out, she bought it. Saturday morning cleaning the house, we'd be listening to Uptown in the limo at her funeral. We played nothing but Prince.
Wow.
Nothing but Prince. Ballad of Dorothy Parker was when they were putting her in the ground. Okay? Uptown was the only thing that kept me from falling apart that day, because I remembered her happy listening to him. And so he became a part of the fabric of my memories, and that's huge.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, again, just going with the comparison, comparing a great to another great. It's just a great in a different perspective. I mean, I like Beat It.
Yeah.
I like Thriller.
I love
But
Michael.
But Thriller's not on my playlist. As
But
Rashone
Darryl.
Bryant, our guest that's going to be coming up, I don't have Thriller on my playlist.
But people feel that, and there's a great group of people that feel that for Michael Jackson as well. And I'm gonna tell you, that's when you reach the level where, you affect the culture. Michael Jackson
But-
affected the culture. Prince affected the
But
culture.
let me say this. It's not even a comparison between Michael Jackson and Prince in terms of how I feel and how some people I know feel. It's just a matter of, it's a celebrity, whoever it may be, and okay, they did their thing, you bought their music, and that's the gist of it. That's all I'm saying. Not a comparison. It doesn't matter if it's Michael Jackson or Prince. It's
For
just,
you, they don't.
For me,
they
I'm
don't
like,
affect you in
okay,
that way.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
It was so sudden, and that's
You know
it for
what?
me.
You know what? I hate to say this. Maybe because I'm so sensitive right now. But you're a heartless. You know that you are a heartless person.
Why?
I'm so glad that you are in Chicago.
That's hey.
I don't think
that's
you're
why
heartless.
did
I
it.
just think
If
that
you were here, I would scratch your eyes out.
scratch.
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
Wait,
Scratches are something. You can punch somebody and
It'll
they can go to work. When you get a scratch, I had a girl one time scratch me from the top of my forehead to the bottom of my neck. I had to go to work with them scratches. I see
Hey,
you.
Darryl.
I know you watch the
Hey,
podcast.
Darryl.
Cocoa butter
Hey,
every
Darryl.
day.
Hey, Daryl.
Sorry,
Daryl,
man. I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna tell you something. Hey, Daryl, let me tell you something. I
counting,
have
bro.
to tell you this, man. I just listen. That was so hilarious, man. I couldn't even laugh. That was funny what you just said, man.
Hey, but we got a caller on there. Caller, you there?
I can't do it.
Yep, I'm here.
What's your name and where you calling from?
I am Wanda from Atlanta.
Wanda
Hi.
from Atlanta.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
A little background on Wanda. She's got the nicest smile. She is very physical, and she is the first person to get me on Facebook.
Oh, really?
If it wasn't for Wanda and I used to I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you young people call it. We used to
You type
back and forth to each other all the time when we were on Michael
What
Basin's
was
site.
that?
Oh,
Or
wait.
whatever.
You were on Michael Baston?
Yeah, and
Okay,
then
I wasn't on Michael Baston. I was on the TJMS when it was orange. We used to call it the orange crack pipe.
wow. And then Wanda gave me an ultimatum. She was like,
Host.
look, I'm not going to be on this no more. If you want to talk to me, you got to get on Facebook. And I was like, I ain't going to get on Facebook. But she made me
You
get on
sure
Facebook.
did.
So I appreciate that, okay?
Was it the icy color Michael
Yeah,
Baston? Oh
icy
my
color.
God.
Oh, man.
I think I might still have a profile.
I'm telling you, I know. I had a plethora
I might still have
of women.
profile. That was so bad.
Here we go.
I'm sorry.
That was so
It was
awful,
unnecessary.
awful thing.
I apologize.
It's always about you, Daryl. Always.
So, Wanda, tell me how you're doing and how celebrities have affected you.
In regards to this specific situation with Prince,
Yes.
Well, it could be anybody, but if it is Prince, we can talk about it.
Okay. I actually feel kind of weird because I've never been this crushed before. And I keep asking myself, like, why do you feel this way over somebody that you never knew personally?
Okay, yeah, because A-Wit is in that place. He's not understanding, the
Right.
reason why people are so affected.
I mean, I've been a fan since I was about 16 years old,
Okay.
and a crazy fanatic fan. And I was actually surprised that my parents were so sympathetic to how sad I was. I guess because they remember what they went through when I was a crazy.
Okay.
But I was trying to understand, where all this emotion was coming from. Like when you had mentioned, Michael and Prince, I didn't go through this with Michael Jackson at all.
Okay.
I liked Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a fan,
Yeah.
but I wasn't a fan. Like,
Right.
I
mean, they're
didn't go to
out there.
concerts.
They're out there, but this is different.
This is so different. It's like, a family member or a really close friend has passed.
Right.
And it's I'm trying to just wrap my head around it all. Still.
It's funny. I hear a lot of the deep and spiritual people go and this is funny because in some of my circles, you get a lot of people, ain't no prince but the Prince of Peace, this, that, and other. But when you look at the body of work, this is not idol worship, okay?
Right.
This is more about the person and what they were talented enough to create and share.
Right.
So it's like you said, it's almost like someone okay? Because with Prince, the music was it was so personal to where the stories told were your stories,
Right.
He just had a way of reaching to that place in each and every one of us that was real, and it
And
became
using
very,
that with 34 to 38 albums that
Yeah.
you could get as, that we could get access to.
yeah.
That brother
Right.
had a lot of music.
He did.
He told a lot of stories.
Yeah.
He gave a lot of himself to us and not for, he told us way back when, I don't care to win awards. He said that way back, so letting you know basically,
It was
I don't make my
personal.
music to be commercial.
Yeah, it was personal.
He did it for the fans,
So Wanda, what about Prince was the main thing that you'll be missing?
Just his whole persona, like the mystery, although as later on he seemed to be so much more personable.
But why?
Why did he seem that way?
Why that baffles me.
What's that?
Why did he start opening the doors to Paisley Park so often? Why was he writing a memoir?
Do you know what
I
I
love
think?
it. I want that. But
I
why?
wanted to, and I think that the openness at the end of his life was more about letting people know what he went through at the times when he was writing that amazing music, because every one of those songs speaks to something, and for us, we had to fill in the blanks, but
Right.
he came to a place where he was willing to say, this is what I went through in the industry. This is what they'll do.
Right.
And to it was almost like teaching,
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because for some reason, over the past several days, the songs Seven and Thieves in the Temple have just been banging in my head, and I'm like, there is something with the meaning of those songs and what has happened
Yeah.
that is going to present itself to us shortly. I mean, I just feel it in my soul. Like if you listen to the lyrics of the song,
Yeah.
it's real
Very
mysterious
cryptic.
to me.
Very, very
Yes,
cryptic.
yes.
Wow. Now, Wanda, you got a picture with you holding up some Prince memorabilia.
Yes.
Were you at work?
One of those is a collage. That picture was taken at work on Thursday when we all got the news and we were all in shock and devastated or whatever. We're like a big family. We made a collective pact that we were all going to wear purple on Friday. And so we did. And when I came home Thursday and the shock kind of wore off and it really hit me, and I just went into what my girlfriend and I call our ugly Oprah Winfrey cry.
Wow.
And I started pulling out all of my memorabilia. I was like, I have to bring this stuff in and share it with them. So one of those pictures is a collage that I made with my very first ticket stub and tons of pictures that I had. And I've had that since I was about 18. Another one was a concert picture that one of my cousins had gotten for me. He used to work for the Daily News when it was actually paper in New York.
Yeah.
And he had gotten that for me. And I had tons of articles and pictures, concert pictures that I had taken. I have my CD collection, my Purple Rain album cover here stuffed with all kinds of photos and just stuff that they would, not as like major fans appreciate.
Yeah.
And I found this one thing that I wanted to read to you guys, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
I didn't even know that I had this or had written it, but apparently it was this little piece that I wrote about how Prince affected me. And it says, I've always imagined that being a part of the MPG would be like being in a very close-knit family where there is lots of love and sharing. Oh, yes, and I suspect that there are feuds every now and then. But in the end, there is a beautiful compromise which is expressed in the funky, soul-tapping, soul-stirring music that we hear. After viewing the video of Gangsta Glam, watching Prince and the MPG kick it at Paisley Park, I was convinced that my images are correct. Peace to all, and may you live to see the dawn. And I cracked up and cried at the same time because I have all my little symbols in here.
Yeah.
And I just started bawling like, oh, my God. I was really, really that deep as a kid.
Yeah. But you know what, though? It speaks to a time, in your life. Everybody has that time, that snapshot, of when it was more important than anything else, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Man,
God forbid anything should happen to anybody from New Edition because I was a fanatic.
Girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even speak
I
it,
found
Jesus.
my pictures where I love Bobby Brown and I love Michael Bivins.
Oh, Lord, somebody check on Bobby Brown.
Yeah. I mean,
check on Bobby.
And see, that's another thing now. Just going back when we were talking about Prince, we were talking about Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Whitney affected me. But she has some crackish ways.
Some demons, yes, she did.
Okay, and I thought Bobby Brown turned her out. They said that she turned out Bobby Brown.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the difference in that part. Why it wasn't sudden. Whitney's slip started to show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the longest time, she had a team around her that didn't allow us to see.
For you young people who don't know what a slip is, because you're nasty, but go on.
Shut up. For the longest time, when celebrities will be insulated by their team. When she started to take control of her career from her father and all of that, she did not have the same kind of insular team. Mm-hmm. So she got to show us a little bit of the cracks pun intended or not, but she started to show us what was really going on. And we were, I won't say prepared, but it didn't come as so much of a surprise.
I agree. But with Prince,
but you know what? She had Clive Davis with her.
Yeah,
I think that's his last name.
Yeah.
She had him, and so he guided her career early.
Yeah,
and he put her on the path of a pop singer. Yeah, and she didn't like that. She wanted to do her thing and get to, in my opinion, get to the black audience. And so she did her thing, and that's who she really was.
Well, you know what? You could take the girl out of Newark, but you can't take the Newark out the girl.
That's right.
But I tell you what, Wanda, we're gonna have to move to one more caller. We've been running the show. It's a long show, but it's worth it. He deserves it. I think we all deserve a
Thank you
chance
so
to
much.
vent and talk.
Yes.
So we thank you for your contribution, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Wanda.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye bye.
So, A-Wit, I kind of want to get where you're at right now. So with us talking about, that snapshot of your life where that music was the most important thing, do you have a place in your life where there was a band or a person that you listened to more than anything else and they meant something like that to you? Like, let's say, in your teens or whatever, or preteens even, where music was that important, that impact.
I'm going to tell you this. It was certain songs that remind me of certain situations throughout my life. And I will say that. But that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
The music may remind me of it, and then that's it. It
Were you
doesn't go
one of
any
those
further
people who
with
had
it.
posters on your wall and all of that?
Never.
No,
Never.
he is heartless.
See, for me, I mean,
I'm going to unfriend you.
I probably shouldn't say this because I'm going to go see him in concert in the summer. But for me, this is the only other I would say musical influence in my life right now would be Duran Duran.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's it. No, but I'm saying they're that important to me.
Okay, hold on.
Let me. That's personal.
We got a caller on the line. We have our special guest, friend of the show, reoccurring guest, Rashone Bryant from the Sneaker Box podcast. Rashone, you there? What's up, my brother? How you doing?
God, what's up, man?
What's going on, Dre? What's up, Carmen?
Hey, how are you?
I'm living.
I know you doing your thing. I appreciate you making the time to give us a call.
Always make time for y'all.
Appreciate
Thank you.
We appreciate you, man.
Now, as we're talking, and the topic that you picked was Prince, Michael Jackson, why we love celebrities.
Okay, I got to do a quick commercial. Hey, I need you to come to my party. We doing Remember the Times of Musicology, Prince versus Michael Jackson Part 2 at Club Evolution here in Toledo on May 29th, 8 p.m. to midnight. Doors open at 7. We're going to do drink specials. We're
Is
going
it
to have
a cash bar?
We're going to have Purple Rain Punch. We're going to have the Sequin Glove. And we're going to have 2 bands, my band, and another band is performing. And we're going to have a DJ, costume contest, the whole 9. So I'm going to need you to come through. You going to come through?
I'm going to try to make it, but I take umbrage with something you just said.
What'd I say?
What umbrage? What does umbrage mean for the people who don't know what that means?
What'd I say? What'd I do?
Umbrage means I think issue.
What'd I do? What I did?
There is no Prince versus Michael Jackson. Like, there is no versus.
No.
Like
This is how we rock, and we doing the music of
They already
Prince.
printed up
We
the
doing
flyers.
music
They
of
already
Michael
printed the
Jackson.
flyers.
I'm just saying, man, it's not a competition. Like, Michael already won that. But
What?
Dude.
Hey,
you had to bring Team Mike with you then.
I'm over here counting, bro.
You had to bring Team MJ with you.
Hey, can I just say one thing?
What you
I
do?
just want to say one thing.
What up?
Rashone, I'm glad you're on the phone, man.
He finally got a friend.
I got some type of backup here.
I got you, Dre. Dre, you can't see me right now, but I'm fist bumping you, man. I got you.
My dog, man.
We can't see you.
That's what I'm gonna say.
We can't even see you.
I'm gonna start the argument with this.
What up?
And I'm gonna let y'all go from there. You would never see Michael Jackson performing at a casino in Detroit. Never in your life would you see that. You know why? Because he's too big.
He's not personable. I don't want to see him.
He sells out arenas. Michael Jackson.
Can I
tell you a secret?
Carmen, don't cuss. Don't cuss, Carmen. Don't cuss.
I'm just saying, listen.
Sorry, kids.
We all know you're not going to see Michael Jackson at a casino performing. That's beneath him.
It's
Michael
beneath
Jackson,
him?
That's beneath him. At the age of 50, Michael Jackson sold out many shows in a matter of minutes in the biggest arena in the world. And this is after being off the stage for over a decade. Who else do you know at the age of 50 could do that.
That's cute and all.
All right.
But
All
here's
right.
the thing.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
show you who gonna do that. Let me show you who could do that. This is you talking to somebody who not only sold out shows in the biggest arenas in the world, but also sold out shows at the after party, the after party, performed 24/7 darn near.
Who wasn't a virgin
24/7.
and had to have fake kids.
24/7. This dude went from performance to performance to perform some more. Got up in the morning and had a performance.
Carmen, you can't see me, but I'm rolling my.
But
You
what?
can't see me, but look, check this out. You can't see me, but I'm rolling my sleeves up. Look.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
Listen, when we're talking about the greatest, it's a multifaceted argument. When you're the greatest, you're good at many things, right?
Absolutely.
The only thing Prince beats Michael Jackson in is producing other people and playing instruments. Michael is a better singer. Michael is a better dancer. Michael had better albums, which broke records. He had better concerts, which broke records.
You got me stuck. Michael was a pop singer. Michael was a pop singer.
Very talented.
Prince was a pop singer. Prince was an R&B singer. Prince was a jazz singer. Absolutely, he could sing. Prince's range could scream Michael Jackson out of the room. I'm done.
Come on, now.
You got me stuck. This dude sang in octaves. He wrote a freaking opera.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about the whole Michael Jackson versus Prince debate?
What up?
I ain't even got Michael Jackson's career started at 5. I don't even need to talk about 5 through 25. I could start with Off the Wall to whatever
You'd
he did
have
in
to.
his career.
You'd have to. Because see, guess what? Because at 57, press pause. Because at 57, that music stopped. Now let's look at Prince. For the next 100 years, he could produce an album a year. The hundreds.
Okay. So he's a singing Tupac. Point of the fact is.
What did you just say?
He said he's a singing Tupac.
And
you know what, dude?
Apparently, no. But if you're gonna go status per status, then you're talking about the greatest rapper that ever lived. Okay, then.
No,
I'm just saying. You the one comparing. You did the comparison.
Rashone straight out the D. He the toughest guy you ever want to meet. And he got Thriller on his podcast. He got Thriller on his iPod. You got Thriller on your iPod.
What up?
Can I say something?
Go ahead, boo.
Can I say something? Can I talk now?
Go ahead, honey. You know I love you, right? You know I love you.
I love you too. But here's the thing. We can sit up here and talk about they both so one of them broke records. The other one was nice. He was good. He was great. But one of them broke records racial barriers because we forget that a lot of black artists weren't being played on MTV, weren't being played on the radio. Michael Jackson was so good, even racists had to be like, yo, man, my man could move up his ass off. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to.
Let me give you this. I'll rock with you on that, and I will see you that, and I'll raise you. Prince's version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Eric Clapton, hands down one of the best guitar players on the planet, white, black, or whatever.
Oh, no argument on that.
He was asked, how does it feel to be the greatest guitar player in the world? He said, I don't know, ask Prince.
Boom.
Okay, he's the best guitar player. He said guitar player, not artist.
I'm just saying. You talking about crossing over? You talking about crossing over and how people feel across boundaries and that? No. I'm just saying. That's what you're talking about. So we gonna give Prince his props too, right?
I'm just saying. One person broke literal records. One person walked out with an armful of Grammys. One person
Prince doesn't care.
Single-handedly.
You mean to tell me?
Up until check this out. Up until
3 times diamond is not a record-breaking achievement. Going triple diamond.
They didn't break a record.
Triple diamond.
Everybody universally knows. Thriller is the greatest album. Period.
Okay, so we can at least.
Are we saying greatest or best-selling? Because there's a debate there.
Listen, but I'm just saying, listen. Once again, hold on. Let me explain this because people have the tendency. People have the tendency when they want to make an argument, right? Like if I want to say Justin Bieber was the greatest artist, right? I'll bring up album sales because that's the only thing he has going for him.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Wait.
Go ahead.
When you talk about the greatest, yes, album sales doing the play, but it has to be other things. There has to be impact, respecting your peers. awards
wait,
you've
no,
won.
come on
I
now.
hope so.
You have to admit, Prince is the artist that other artists listen to. You got to admit
Come on,
that.
bro.
You
And
got
he
to.
shared the wealth.
You got to.
Who is
You
Michael
have to admit
Jackson
that.
responsible
You know what the
for
problem
on
is
the
with that?
side?
You know what the problem is with that?
What's
you
that?
can't outsell somebody and then say, well, more people listen to the other guy. Obviously, more people are buying this man's record.
Okay.
Obviously.
We're
That's just a
talking
fact.
about
Like,
you're talking
like,
about,
if I
but you're
sell-
going back
if
to
I
talking about
sell-
sales is what we're talking
I'm
about.
just,
I'm
just
trying to
saying,
gauge it.
But, no, listen what I'm saying. Like, it facilitates the selling because it's like, if me and you are two artists, right? And I sell like 100 more albums than you do, but you like, well, more people listen to my album. I'm gonna look at the chart like, wait a minute.
No,
How come more people
I didn't
listen to
say
you
more
and
people
are buying
listen
mine?
to his album. I said he was the artist
okay.
that
So they
other
bought the
artists
album, but they didn't
listen
listen to
to.
it.
No.
They do.
I said, listen carefully. I need you to hear me. I did not say that. I said he was the artist that other artists listen to.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
Dude.
Are you
Yes, I
serious?
am.
We
yes,
are
I am.
not debating
I'm going to leave that there.
Okay.
I'm going to put a period
Here's the
behind
thing.
that. I'm putting a
We
period.
both
behind
have a
that.
loss. We both have a loss,
No.
right?
I'm putting a period
We
behind
both
that.
are experiencing a
I gotta
loss.
answer that. Hold on, time out. No, I gotta answer that. We're gonna sit here and act like, and we're gonna sit here and act like we ain't had a whole bunch of Michael Jackson imitations trying to flow through here. Neo, Usher, Justin Timberlake. Last time I checked, there was only one Prince. I ain't
That's
seen too many
right.
guys
And there will
go on
only
stage-
ever be
No,
one
my point
Prince.
is,
You
I
get
ain't
that?
seen so many
You feel
dudes-
that? Do
I
you
ain't seen-
feel that,
listen,
though?
The
You
only
feel
person
that?
tried to.
He
Listen.
can't be imitated. This is
Listen.
someone who's so
Nobody even
original,
tried.
who's
Nobody
so
even
original
tried. You know
that
why?
he cannot
You know
be
what? Wait,
imitated.
Time out. Time out.
Does
Nobody
Michael
even
Jackson
tried.
own a color? No.
Listen.
Boom.
Wow, that's it.
And
Okay.
who you?
No, I'm just giving it
He
to you.
owns a color.
I'm
I'ma
giving it
send
to
you
you
a-
from the musical standpoint. I'm just saying,
No,
this
you're
is
not-
someone
you
who
didn't give me
can't
anything.
be imitated.
Listen.
This is someone
listen.
who's so
The reason-
original
the re-
and so
the
Don't you
reason
make
they
her
weren't
cry.
trying to- Carmen.
Yes.
The reason they weren't trying to imitate Prince because they were too busy trying to imitate Michael Jackson.
Oh,
That's why.
man. You know what?
That's why.
Because it's easy to
That's
do.
why. You see Michael Jackson
Hey, Darryl.
once again, there's a network that can single-handedly point to Michael Jackson and say, we exist because of this man.
Dude, is that the alarm
How
going
about
off
the
at work, or is that
state
your
of
heart
the-
monitor?
The state of Minnesota can single-handedly
It's
point to
like-
Prince,
Nobody cares
point to
about
Prince,
Minnesota.
and say
Yep.
we still exist because of tourism
Carmen, I'm telling
generated
you right now,
by
look,
this
Carmen.
man.
Carmen, I'm about to go on vacation in 3 weeks to Minnesota.
Okay.
And I'm about to tell you, I normally would be happy to have the days off for work. But once I found out we was going to Minnesota, I'm like, I might want to cancel my
Oh,
vacation.
dude.
I might
Okay,
actually
I
wanna
tell you
work that
what.
week.
I tell you what. This has been a long show. You know,
Yeah.
The only
No, but
thing-
can I
the
tell you
only-
something? No, can I tell you something for real? And I want to thank you. I want to thank you because I was very, very down when we initially started this show. I was very somber. I even broke down and cried. But talking to you has just got my blood pressure raised up just enough to be happy again.
I mean, you got my lips tight. You
Thank
got her
you.
blood pressure up and my lips tight.
Thank you,
Because I'm
honey.
trying to hold back.
Hey, you know what's funny? I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick.
What's
I
up?
read a book. called "Remember the Time." It's about Michael Jackson's bodyguards at the end of his life.
Okay.
And they said they were hiding in Virginia, getting away from LA and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And so they went to a store. And, Michael Jackson was wearing one of his costumes, and they said that his costumes weren't very good because he's still wearing the white socks and the black loafers. And, people can kind of tell that it's him. Anyway, they went to a store, and people started, mobbing the store because they wanted to see Michael Jackson. Security guard walked up to him and said, "Who's that man with the sunglasses on?" The security guard told him it was Prince. Everybody left.
Man, look.
Wow.
I can make
The
up some
funniest
story
story-
like that.
Listen,
That
I'm
is
like this.
ridiculous.
I'm gonna put it like this.
Where did you
I'ma
read
put it
that
like
off
this.
of? Peoplepc.com? What is it? What?
Hey,
CompuServe?
let me ask you a question.
What's up,
Let me ask you a
honey?
question.
What's up?
Can Michael Jackson, hello?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, babe?
Can Michael Jackson go anywhere without a mob? Like Prince can go to basketball games. Prince can go to tennis games. Michael Jackson cannot go anywhere.
You know why Prince can do that? Because he's a piece of all of us. Michael Jackson is not. He's a piece of that industry.
You know
okay?
what? Though? I did say this. I will say this. This is the difference between the loss of Michael, how people experience the loss of Michael and how people experience the loss of Prince. Michael belonged to the world,
Absolutely.
right? And Prince,
he belonged to the streets.
And Prince, the Prince experience was much more personal. So I would say that.
Hey, can I get a word in there?
Yeah, it's your show, bro. My fault.
I need to do this. Darryl, I have a real problem with you. And I'm going to tell you why.
Why does everybody got beef now all of a sudden?
No, I got a problem. No, I've got a problem with Darryl. I have been so respectful. I haven't said anything negative about Prince. And then you come up and say something about Michael being a pedophile and all that.
Ain't nobody said nothing about that. I ain't said nothing about that. I didn't bring that up.
Yes, you said something when Rashone got on the line and you made a comment.
I said he had Prince wasn't a virgin.
I've been so respectful.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that pedophile thing. You brought that up.
And you know what? That's another good point, though, Dre. This man
He's making a point of a point that didn't exist.
No, I'm just saying. Michael Jackson faced 2 pedophile trials, and you still have people being like, you know what? He may or may not have done it, but yo,
you know, that's sad. That really is sad. Now I'm with you there because I mean, in terms of Michael, I do appreciate Michael, and I was a fan.
I had to beat the jacket.
Here's the thing. No. And I feel like this. You got people behind his death still trying to bring down his memory, and that's not fair. It's not sweet at all. It's not okay.
I'm gonna put it like this: Michael Jackson was a 5-year-old that took care of his family.
Basically, he was never allowed to grow up because he had so many people, wanting a piece of him,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
The Jacksons
they were industry.
would still be living in a shack if it wasn't for 5-year-old Michael.
Right.
Bruh, now let me ask you this, bro.
Right.
When he died, when you heard about it, did you cry with Michael Jackson? How did you feel?
Yeah, dude, look, when Michael died, like I said, it's funny that you said he belongs to the world. Like, everybody was a Michael Jackson fan.
Right.
And when he died, what happened was because there was so much controversy when, at the end of his life, when he died, it put everything in perspective. And I think a lot of people sat back and said, you know what? We did, I think a lot of people had a little bit of regret.
Guilt.
That we let somebody that was this special become such a damaged good. And it was just like,
there's a level of guilt.
Yeah, and it was so sad because, it was one of those things where it put his career in perspective. It put his impact in perspective. And you know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things, and I think that's why he was so frustrated, because it was like, man, this man did so much. And I think a lot of people, they just recently had the documentary on Showtime.
I agree.
I think a lot of people just assume Michael Jackson just moonwalked into a studio, dropped his lines, and then just moonwalked right back out. And there was a lot that Michael Jackson brought to the table.
Yeah, he was a composer as well. A lot of people don't know that Michael played, that he sang background on tracks for Rockwell, Michael McDonald. No.
Rockwell.
The session where
said Rockwell.
Wait. The session where Michael McDonald recorded "What a Fool Believes." Those high voices were Michael Jackson.
I mean, Michael Jackson is in a Hall of Fame twice.
Yeah.
As part of a group,
right?
And as an individual talent. Just think about that.
Yeah.
Michael, if just with the Jackson 5 alone, he's a legend.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and this is where we are with this. His impact on you personally, what you felt post-death, and even now, looking back, now that you have some perspective, now that there's been time to kind of process the whole thing, is there still that connection?
To Michael?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a connection because he got Thriller on his doggone iPod.
Michael Jackson was magic. People that lived in the 80s, and it's hard to, help people that weren't born there understand.
Right.
Back then, you had the Temptations. You had what? Rick James, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Michael Jackson came and changed the landscape.
Yeah, he did.
Go back and watch Motown 25.
Right.
And watch the great acts that performed before him.
Right.
And then to see him just take,
Michael Jackson, that was a tangible place where you could see the changing of the guard in music itself. Yeah, I feel you. I agree.
Michael Jackson was magic. Michael Jackson, as kids, everybody wanted to be Michael Jackson.
I will say this: he should have his own satellite station. I'm surprised
Yeah,
that he
that's
does
true.
not.
That's true.
But Prince should have his as well. Both of them are talented individuals, bro. Of course, we're gonna have to.
Prince got all his music on Tidal now, so.
Well, but
Well,
it's gonna spread out. The love will be
reverted back
spread.
to the record label.
We're gonna have to get off the line because
Thank you though for coming back.
It's been a
Thank
long.
you for being there for us
Well,
so much.
Darryl, let me ask Rashone just one quick question, and I want to know where he is at it, where he is with this Prince and Michael Jackson. I mean, how was your day when that happened? Were you in tears? Did you not go to work? That's what I need to find out.
Okay, for Michael Jackson, I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. I was at home from work. I had just got home. Me and my wife were sitting in the living room. My daughter was still a baby. Matter of fact, she was just born. And, no, my bad. I was like, she was pregnant. My wife was pregnant. I'm sorry. We're sitting in the living room, and my phone is blowing up. And, I'm watching ESPN or something. And I'm sitting there like, man, like, what? Like, I said, these text messages, like, Michael Jackson died. I'm like, man, okay, people just playing. I'm watching ESPN. It's breaking news on ESPN. Michael Jackson ended up with a sport in his life. It's breaking news on ESPN. And I'm like, this can't be serious. I turned it to CNN, and I remember at the time, people were still holding out hope. Like, maybe, he's, because at the time, nobody wanted to come out and officially say he was dead. And I'll never forget that shot of the rooftop of the hospital when they had his hospital gurney covered, had his body covered up in the sheet, and they were transporting him via helicopter. And that's when, like, you could see that he was really gone. And it just hit me. Like, I did not think I was going to be that affected by Michael Jackson dying. Like, it kind of bothered me. Like, it just, I didn't, only other time I felt that bad recently was when Robin Williams died. It was just like, I did not think I was going to be that affected. With Prince, it was more of a shock. You know what I'm saying? It was more like, because up until that point, he didn't really have any life-threatening illness or ailments that you heard of, so it's just like, I was like, damn, what? Huh? Like, Prince died. It was more of that shock more than sadness, if you get what I'm saying. And so, I feel there's a loss for both of them because, we're talking about, Michael versus Prince, but at the end of the day, these are two legends.
Absolutely.
These are two legends that changed music. These are two legends that created their own style of music. They were originators. They were originators. They were their own people. They could never be copied. There would never be another Prince. There would never be another Michael Jackson.
Got it. Exactly. Now I'm gonna have to let that be the final note. Carmen had to pop out. We're going on this is probably our longest show ever, which is, I'm not complaining. I'm happy about it because this was therapy for me. And
get over yourself.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Seriously, I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be a gentleman. I got a tie on. Don't make me take this tie off, dude. Don't make me take this purple paisley tie off. I will hop on one foot to Detroit.
Rashone. Hey, Rashone. I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him since Prince died, and we talk all the time. So he was ruined, man. Ruined.
I know. I talked
ruined.
To him. I talked to him that day, but I will say this real quick, Darryl. If you're going to make a threat to somebody and their first reaction is to laugh at you, that lets you know that you're not intimidating.
All right. It's cool, bro. It's cool. Because as I said, I'm going to watch myself. I'm going to watch my tone with you because you're getting ready to blow up. I told you that. But as I always say, when you blow up, I blow up. So it's cool. Right. I mean, me, Dre, and Carmen. Hey, look,
I will need an Uber driver. So, yeah, I got you.
I got you. Hey, but check it. Listen. I'm going to get into a quick apology, and we're going to get to the conclusion. The same poet apology goes out to my cousin, Angela Moore, for our basement parties that we would always have, that I DJ for my family. She always would say, could you play a Michael Jackson song? Could you play something from Michael? And I always look at her with the cross eyes, like straight up, really, I got to go into my my case and try to find something from Michael Jackson, but I would always play it for her. Now, my cousin, I understand. I understand what you are going through. I understand how Michael Jackson affected you because that's how Prince affected me. So I want to thank you, Rashone, for being a special guest on the show as always.
Can I add one more
Thanks,
thing?
Rashone, man.
No
Thanks,
problem.
man.
Can I add one more thing?
Thanks for having my back too, man.
I got you, Dre. I got you.
My man.
Can I add something, though, real quick?
Yeah.
All right, look. Now, I know we just had the topic of Michael versus Prince, right? But I do think, because I find myself doing this, like, the thing about Michael Jackson is everybody knows Thriller, everybody knows Off the Wall, everybody knows all this other stuff. But Michael, I mean, once again, like, the Jackson. There's 2 Jackson albums that were, like, just as good as Off the Wall. And, like, it's funny because I'll play a song and people are like, when did that song come out? And I'm like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about Michael Jackson's career, people think about the big albums. But, once again, they miss that there's, like, a segment of Michael's music and artistry that's, like, kind of missing between Motown and the Jackson 5 and Off the Wall. Like, it's funny because when you have an argument about Prince and Michael Jackson, they don't even bring up that stuff, and that's what I'm always talking about. Like, when we talk about versus, I can just talk about a couple albums that everybody knows about without even having to bring up all the other stuff that is also credited to him. So, and that's why I feel like he's underappreciated because I don't think people realize the depth of talent and creativity that he had, and so. I just wanted to point that out. Just right now, I was listening to "Show You the Way to Go."
That's what I play for my cousin. I'll play "Good Times" and let me show you the way to go. I feel you. So listen, everybody. I want to thank you for helping us reach almost 500 likes on our Facebook page, and we want to thank a few people: Larry Simmons, Angela Spikes, James A. Harris, Edwin Derby, Sam Turner, Andrea M. Perry, Marquisa Young, and Desiree Stilson. So everybody, please go to our website, fullcirclepodcastshow.com. Email us, fullcirclepodcastshow@gmail.com. And remember to take a stand. You have an opinion. Use it. Rest in peace, Prince. Good night.
Crime.
Let's get it together.
Education.
Let's get it together.
Marriage.
Let's get it together.
Politics.
Let's get it together. Full circle.
Poverty.
Let's get it together.
Race.
Let's get it together. Full circle.